This is the Renaissance Men Podcast, broadcasting live on YouTube and Twitch. Now please welcome your host, Stuart Garrard.
And welcome to the Renaissance Men Podcast for July 22nd, 2022. I am your host, Stuart Garrard, and joining me, thank God, is my good brother, Jimmy T. Saint.
My children, I've missed you so much.
Oh, we all have, Jimmy. It was a painful experience recording on my own.
Well, I listened to a lot of it the next day, and it seemed like you were sad on yourself. It just seemed like you were quite sad. You know, the thing that killed me was there was two sections that you had done, that you had released separately. There was your gold, your Renaissance Men gold, which is usually our sort of funniest bit, but it was just you talking about the death of James Caan.
Yep.
And when I first heard it, I thought you said James Carr, because I didn't know Caan was dead. And you went, which is my real name. James Carr is dead. I was like, what? And that was just all tragic. And then your reaction to a trailer was priceless, because there was no sound to the trailer you were watching. So all we had was the visual and you going...
Oh, that's good.
And
that's
at
good.
the end you went, well, that looks exciting. It was fucking brilliant. It's the best thing I've seen.
Well, we put a show out. There was content out there, so we kept it rolling. And last week, Jimmy, we had a Renaissance Men Classic episode airing live. That was good. That was good. Classic. Not that you're bad, but, you know, some good Renaissance Men content. So, yeah, that was good. We'll do that in the future when we have some off weeks going forward, because there's bound to be more, to be quite frank.
Yep.
You know, it's the way it is. We're family men, aren't we? We have competing ties.
Needs
so if we
must
do,
where the devil shits in your face.
Yeah. Did you get it from a fortune cookie or something? That's quite profound.
No, I think it's from Blackadder. I don't think it says shit, but it probably says defecate. What's the saying? Needs must where the devil drives, or something?
I don't know.
You never heard that?
No.
We'll Google it later on in the show, or let us know in the comments.
Jimmy, enough of all this shenanigans. How the devil are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Only okay.
I've got my physical health, Stu. I've got my physical health.
That's usually the preface to something when you then say, oh, but, I don't know, mentally I'm struggling, or, I don't know, someone's dead. Or
mentally I checked out ages ago.
Okay.
But physically I've never been stronger. So, so it's a, it's a tricky situation, because I can lift my children, but then I just want to throw that child over a hedge.
I feel you.
Or bridge somewhere. But no, it's been weeks since I've been. It's been 3 weeks since we've spoken last, Stu, and face to face. Yeah, it's been 3 weeks, so it's been a bit of a.
It has, isn't it? Yes.
So much has happened. We had, we had
so much,
so many things. I ate a packet of crisps one day. No, I had sports day.
Right. Okay.
Kids' sports day. First sports day I've ever been to.
It seems a bit late in the term.
I don't know, but it's the first sports day I've ever been to for my children.
Of course. What, because of COVID?
Lockdowns, yeah, because of lockdowns. So it was my first dad's race.
They had one, did they?
That's
interesting.
Two.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and I entered both of them.
Yeah.
And I didn't do as well as I thought I was going to do, Stu, I'll be honest. I was pretty confident going in, a lot of old tubby men, and I run quite a lot. Well, it turns out, long distance I'm fine, but sprinting, my God, even a couple of my friends, my friend Peter Langley, who is he won't be offended by me saying this, is a little bit rotund at the moment. But he's always abnormally good at sports. It's very unusual. And I was like, well, at least I'll go next to Pete. At least I'll beat Pete. He beat me by about 50 feet. And then it was just a thrashing. I probably came about 7th out of 9, or 10. One guy went boom, straight over on his mush. That was nice. So I beat him. Afterwards, when I won, I walked back and kicked sand in his face. But then I stayed around later on for other kids, even though my kids were dumb, just to see if there was another dad's race, and there was. I went, load of old men. I thought, I'll fare better in this one. Here we go again.
I hope you lost.
No. 6th, 7th, same positioning again. Some of these guys went. It turns out, I don't think people lose their sort of speed as they get older. Obviously, you lose your stamina, and you know you can't go. Oh, I can't go and run 5-6 miles. But when they've got to run, when dads have got to run, Jesus, they fucking run.
They don't lose their explosiveness.
No, they did not. Even ones that look like they've got like illness. Like they're jaundice, and like you're like, well, I'm gonna beat Fag Ash Phil or whatever, you know, stand next to him and like a fucking wicket. I couldn't believe it. I asked people to film it, but I'm barely in the videos because I'm so far back. I'm so
welcome,
far
Holly.
behind in the videos.
Well, yes, welcome, Holly.
Hey, Holly.
Yeah, we've all missed Jimmy's stories. They are.
Well,
they're always a highlight.
I'll tell you, my stories are nothing compared to one of my friends. One of my friends has been telling us some stories. I can't say his name on air, but he looks like John Hammond from Jurassic Park. I'll just say that. But he stopped at a petrol station the other day, and a lady went to get out of her car next to him, just next to the petrol station, and as she turned round, she got out her wheelchair, so she was in a wheelchair. But as she was getting out, she was scooting herself into this chair, and as she did, her trousers just came down with every scoot, and by the end her trousers and knickers were round her ankles. So he said he could just literally see her vagina and her bumhole. And it was at that point he was like, how can I ask if I can help? How can I ask if I can help? He just had to, you know, snort his petrol fumes and move on. Yeah, that was quite a tale he told us. Yeah, it's been a crazy few weeks. I went to see Pearl Jam. That was good fun. But the thing for me today, you notice I haven't got my usual nerd cup. I'm on the Guinness today because it is my nan who passed away 7 years ago. I think it was now. It would have been her 98th birthday today. So she loved the Guinness. Did old Renee Wheeler. So we're celebrating with some Guinnesses to Renee Wheeler, gone but far from forgotten. Here's
to Renee.
Yeah, her name was Renee, but everyone called her Renee. Everyone. Renee. Hence why my daughter's middle name is Renee. But yeah, used to drive her nuts. But yeah.
I'll say it as you see it, I suppose. Renee or something, was it?
Yeah.
Renee.
Renee, yeah. Well, she was from the East End.
Oh, well, there you go. Kind of, yeah. I can see why people would call her that then. Renee! All right, Renee. Anything else, Jimmy? It's been bloody hot, isn't it? Let's talk about the heat.
Well, yeah, I was going to go over to you because I knew you were going to talk about the hotness.
It's been a scorcher.
Tell me about it.
Mate, it's topped 40 degrees in the country, didn't it? I don't know, people are probably sick and tired of hearing about the weather, but I think we need to discuss how it affected us. I mean, I was a sweaty mess on Tuesday, absolute sweaty mess. Particularly in the evening, you know, when you're going to bed and it's still like 30 degrees, there's something wrong, isn't there? Quite frankly. Just tossing and turning, more so. Just because the heat is just so oppressive. I didn't get a good night's sleep, Jimmy. I was knackered today. Feels like there's been a culmination of no sleep this week. And I'm at breaking point. I just sat at work all day, just yawning my head off.
Yeah,
not through just boredom. Buddy. There's a bit of boredom, yes. Don't get me wrong, but also just fatigue.
The heat exhaustion. Yeah, I think it's affected most people. Us as well. You know, we ended up having like 4 of us in one bed, just dripping. And in the office,
that would do it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but you can't kick the little bastards out, Stu. They don't go. And they've got bunk beds, so you can't get in their bunk beds.
Right.
Yeah. And then you end up downstairs, but they're moaning about it. They've been moaning about the heat. So my parents have been feeling sick and headache. Oh yeah, it's been about. I think everyone's gone a bit loopy through the heat.
Do we need a good storm? Don't we? I've never understood that growing up and kind of people say, "Oh, really need a good thunderstorm, freshen things up. But yes, you do, because I feel that my head gets affected by not having like a good thunderstorm will clear my head. It's weird. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Like some kind of pressure's going on in my brain, but I've got some kind of massive tumor. I don't know, but
yeah. It looks like it. A few comments in the comments section, Stu. We've got
thank you,
Johnson
Jimmy.
Scale Modelling. 2 naps a day is getting standard.
Yep.
I mean, he's always had 2 naps a day, so I don't know. He's just trying to put out to soften it up to his wife.
As I get older, I can appreciate having a good nap, good afternoon nap. I can sleep anywhere now these days, really, apart from in a bed in 30-degree heat, clearly. But,
And the real Matthew Early says 13 years ago, dear. Because it is Matthew Early's nan as well, Reenie Wheeler. That's 13 years. Forgive me. Crikey, that is a long time. Yeah, but the heat was a mental one. I mean, I was sat in my office with our friend, sometime listener of the show, Carl Hill, both in our boxer shorts.
Okay, working in your pants together.
That's how hot it was. Well, no, actually, tell a lie. I kept my shorts on for dignity. He kept his boxer shorts on because he's got no dignity. And
what a sight to behold.
We were both just absolutely dripping, and he was sat there with his headphones on, and he had an air fan behind him, a cooler, a fan, whatever. But a few months back, I got stung with a £700 electricity bill because of all the heaters we had on during the winter. And it all falls on me, all this fucking this bill. So he had this fan on. So every time he had it on, he had his headphones. I'd walk behind him and and kept turning it off. And he'd feel it though every time on his big hairy back. He'd feel the wind stop, and he'd look round, and I'd just be like, "Okay, you can have it on. I'm not that bad a landlord."
Oh dear. Have you got some fanny stories for me, Jimmy?
Fanny. Well, I told one already, John, about
okay.
The lady getting out of her into her wheelchair and her vagina and bumhole being on show. The other one is another one from he's put Carl Hill now. He said it now. I was keeping him confidential as
the shroud of mystery has been whipped away.
People were previously picturing John Hammond from Jurassic Park, but now it's Carl Hill. Well, his other story, Stu, was amazing. He went out for a walk with his lovely dog, and as he was walking in the distance, his dog started running towards a young lady who was squatted down, shorts and pants around her ankles, with a camera, taking pictures of her vulva.
Really?
Well, and the dog went running up because it wasn't on a leash. Naughty Carl. And she was just like, oh, and then he was like, to his dog, and she just sort of stood up, pulled her shorts up, was like, hello, doggy. And he was like, can I have my dog back? Went off, and it was like, Jesus Christ, what? Just in the middle of around Monkwick where they live, just some woman.
Yeah, fair enough.
I know. There's someone taking a picture of their privates on every corner in Monkwick. Yeah. But then he carried on his walk, and by the end, his dog ran up to a woman at her car, underneath the bonnet of her car, and she went, oh, hello, and it was the same woman, but she was dressed now with her boyfriend. And Carl's like, oh God, carried on with his walk with the dog, and then just heard a bang and turned round, and the car bonnet had fallen on her head. And he was like, oh, are you all right? And she was like, yeah, and just blood piddling down her face. And her boyfriend was like, yeah, it should be all right, don't worry. And she was going,
are you making this up? I swear
I got concussion.
This feels like a round of Whose Line Is It Anyway, where you've just been given like 2 talks.
No. It's another one of Carl's weird the vagina monologues from Carl.
Wow. Okay. Got strangely violent towards the end, but fair play.
Yeah, most of Carl's vagina monologues do get violent at the end.
Colin Doonan has joined us in the chat.
Yeah.
Hello, Colin.
And what's that comment from Holly, Carl? I like that.
Disco fannies all round this week. Disco fannies. I
mean, I don't know. I don't know what to think of it.
No,
is it because we were talking about how hot it was? I'm a bit...
Disco fannies.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm thinking mirror balls.
I bet you are.
Holly, elaborate.
Or don't.
Excuse me, I just need to cough.
Bob Fleming.
Jimmy, some holidays have started.
Yes.
That's my other big story. We're experiencing our first true some holidays. 2 days in, Benji's already annoyed us, quite frankly. We wanted to go back already, and 2, he's already stated he's bored. So traditional British summer holidays have begun. Bored. He's 5 and he's bored. Can go outside and do something, mate. We've got
Yeah,
bought him a £300 swing set in the back garden. He doesn't use it. Only uses it if we go out in the back garden with him. That's not why we bought it.
You bought it to distract him.
Exactly, for him to go out and play with him, not for us to have to go out there and be with him whilst he plays with it.
Do you say that to him?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we had another child to distract the previous child, and sometimes one child comes up and we say, look, there's another one in there that we made to play with. Go and entertain each other.
Interesting. Because Amanda uses this as a like a bargaining. No, what's the word? Yeah, I suppose it's a bargaining chip. You know, because she says, "Oh, let's have another one. Benj can play with him." But from what you're saying, that isn't necessarily a guarantee.
It's not guaranteed. It does help. It does massively help. But if I can give you a tip, I'll just say 2 words. Ukrainian family.
Okay.
You move a lady and a kid in. Benja's got a mate. You've got a friend. You've got someone to chat to. You've got someone to chat to who doesn't disrespect you everywhere you turn. Right? Because hopefully they're happy that they're staying in your house.
I like it. And you're doing something good for the Ukrainian people.
Well, that should have been the first thing I said, but I forgot.
Yeah, I like it. Something to consider, certainly.
You sound like Richard Madeley when you do that. Good idea. Can we do that? Can we do that? Can we get a Ukrainian family?
Yeah, I do. The more I've done this over the years, the more I tend to veer into Partridge or Madeley. It's weird. I never thought I'd kind of model my presenting style on those two greats.
I've got a feeling the wig is coming next on you, Stu. Stu, we've had some worrying comments in the comment section. Holly, I think, confirming what I feared.
Hot and sweaty.
I think she's talking about her private parts, Stu.
Okay. But I still don't understand when the disco comes in. Is it because discos are hot and sweaty?
Well, I think what she's saying now, I may be way off here, but if a lady or a gentleman goes clubbing to a discotheque,
okay.
by the end of the night, their groin is usually moist.
Cool.
Especially if you wear PVC trousers like I used to.
Christ. Right, on that bombshell, I'm just Partridge all over.
Madeley.
This is the Renaissance Men podcast, as you know. If you are here for the first time, a warm welcome to the show. If you do enjoy the content, please hit those like and subscribe buttons. And with that being said, let's kick off the show by viewing some of our highlights from the past week. I'm not ready for this. Let me just get my...
Don't worry. Don't worry. It's been a hot week.
Let's just take a look around the channel. Oh, I haven't got my screen share ready either.
That was nice though, Stu. I liked how... Let's take a look around the channel. Bang, bang. That kicked in nice, man. You're getting hot on those like a gunslinger from the Wild West.
Pew pew.
Of Ipswich.
Yeah. So a few bits and pieces of content have appeared on the channel lately, Jimmy. I do like to do this segment because people might not necessarily may come just for this show. They might not know the range of other content that we have on offer. So I think it's fair for us to take a look around, see what we do.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it then, Stu. They did it. You got there.
There we go. YouTube.com/RenaissanceCast is where you'll find us. Obviously, we have gone live, as you can see, but at this point, I do want to pimp out the Geek Out for Gosh, which is our charity drive for July. We are trying to raise 250 quid for Great Ormond Street Children's Hospital charity. That is a mouthful. We're at 120 £120, I believe. £120. So we're almost halfway.
Plus the $7 million dollars that I pledged.
Yep, of course, I forgot that. So we're well over the target. Hence why I haven't really kind of pushed it much in the past week. But no, if we can get as close to our target as possible, that would be wonderful. But at the end of the day, anything we can raise will be well received by Great Ormond Street Hospital. If you do want to donate, you can just scan that QR code over there in the corner there with your phone. Get your camera out. That'll take you straight to the donations page, and you can donate directly to Great Ormond Street Hospital. I went there as a kid, so they are the reason why this podcast is happening. Because if I hadn't gone there, I guess I would have died. I don't know. I will say that it's still sounds reasonable.
It's still a mystery why you went there, Stu. It's never been revealed. You know, we knew all the rumours in school. You know, you had a monkey heart, or you had
girl's
a
kidney.
Girl's kidney. That was one of them. Obviously, that was the big one.
I don't know why I took such offence
hair
to
transplant.
That. Yeah. So please do go scan that QR code if you so wish, and go help raise some money for Great Ormond Street Children's Hospital. They do good. They provide funds for the parents of sick kids, and they provide funds for research and equipment and all that good stuff. So it's a worthy cause.
Yeah. And if you want us to do something for that money, please just send us a comment or in the messages on YouTube or on Facebook. Whatever you want us to do, we will do for cash. No one's requested anything yet, which is amazing because, apart from like heavy lifting, I'll do a lot of stuff for money.
It's true. It is true. What else we got? Obviously, we have the aforementioned tributes to James Caan.
Yeah. I'd say watch that if you want a good cry.
And the hot takes. It's annoying because Amsterdam did look really good. It didn't sound particularly good because, well, we'll never know because we couldn't hear the bloody thing. But it looked all right. As films
you could hear it though.
Yeah, I thought it looked great and sounded great. The Renaissance Men classic episode is up there. That's from last week. If you want to go check out some content from the days of yore, and go check that out. Emma T. Saint has been doing some Lego building.
Yeah, still going with the Home Alone house there.
Yeah, still going, and it's still going strong. So got lots of Lego content. Botchcast is there if you want to watch it. So there we go. A whole variety of content there for you.
Well, if I can pimp as well.
Oh yes.
Check out the real Matthew Early. Because the latest Brian Blessed Diaries entry is out there now.
Yep.
Worth having a look at if you've got a couple of minutes. They're only a couple of minutes long. Good little laugh. If you're a fan of Blessed, well, you don't have to be a fan of Blessed. Just a fan of a good little laugh.
Yeah.
We've actually got a comment in the chat from the real Matthew Early. If I can't call in, sorry, it's not a call-in show yet. Brian's lost his voice but sends his love.
Oh, cheers, Brian. Well, that's an interesting segue. Oh, Holly asks, have either of you watched Incantation on Netflix? Never heard of it.
No.
Incantation. No. Any good, Holly? Any good? I have been watching some stuff on Netflix, which we'll get to later in the evening. But we were talking about Blessed, who usually contributes to our Ask Us Anything segment. So I think that's a good moment, as good a moment as any, Jimmy, to transition onto a slightly tweaked Ask Us Anything. Now, Jimmy, I am going to be probing you this week. You may have noticed on my solo show that I answered a whole range of questions, quick fire questions from Holly, our regular contributor. It was one of those segments where I was just saying the first thing that came on top of my head. I felt like I kind of ploughed the depths of my inner psyche, my soul. I felt like I was venting.
Did you feel like you started to go mad just on your own?
A little bit.
Just chatting to yourself?
A little bit, yeah. It was weird. But I've got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions here, and I want you to answer them quick fire, the first thing that comes into your head, so we can kind of get a deeper sense of you. Okay?
God. I don't think people need that.
Question 1. What is the one thing you'll never do again?
Oh, co-steering. Coast steering. It's where you wear like a helmet and a thing, wetsuit, and a thing. You jump into the water and you go round and you look in caves.
Oh,
and you,
that sounds terrifying, mate.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Ooh.
I'd never do that again. I'd never do that again.
My answer was have children. It was. Holly asks, "What's your go-to dance move?"
Now, some people. Now, I'll say a little. I know I'm supposed to be quick. Some people who I've my wife thinks I'm an awful dancer.
Okay.
I think I'm a phenomenal dancer, and I even got told I was a good dancer by an ex-Hollyoaks star who was on that dancing show. What's it called? No, Strictly.
Okay.
She was on Strictly.
Oh.
And I went on a date with her, and we met at a party, and we were dancing, cutting a rug, and she said I was good. So, I would say I'm a phenomenal dancer, and if I had to go with one dance move, it used to be the Matrix, but when you fling back, work your way back up.
You went bullet time.
Yeah, bullet time. Right? Bullet time. Now I'd probably go. It's
the left to right foot shuffle.
It's probably the Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
It's probably that.
Mine was. What was mine? Mine was the. It was the. I can't remember who taught me this, but it was the. I think you see.
God bless them.
You go backwards, pretending you're steering a car.
Oh, I like that.
And then you push forwards if you're mowing the lawn. So it's kind of a.
Yeah, that's good. Who taught you that? The gardener.
I can't remember. But no, that's my go-to move. If it's not that, it's the clicking in the fingers, left to right, balance shuffle.
Yeah. I wouldn't even say that's a move, really. That's just
that's just swaying. Swaying.
Yeah, swaying.
Bit of weight distribution from left to right. Holly also asks, if someone wrote a book about your life, what would the title be?
Oh, Jimmy the Saint? Question mark.
Okay.
If they knew everything.
Jimmy the Saint? Question mark. What was mine? Nobody died. I think it was. Nobody died. What three things do you think about most each day? Can't remember what I said for this.
God. Star Trek might be in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I reckon.
Wow.
My wife.
Yeah, whatever. Okay.
No, I do genuinely. Doesn't mean it's positive. Just this. No, I do. My wife, family, my immediate, my wife and kids, and so I'm excluding work from this because obviously I'm in work if I don't think about work, but probably Star Trek, my immediate family, and maybe alcohol. Maybe alcohol's in there. No, probably my friends. To be honest, my friends. Boring answers, I'm afraid.
Apparently, I see the three Fs. Food.
Yes.
No, it was.
I know what the third F is, Stu.
Yeah, it was. What's the second one? Food.
Friends.
No.
Fudge.
No.
Flakes.
No.
I mean, that's food, isn't it?
Can you remember what the other one was, Holly? I can't remember.
Foster's.
No. Food. Yes, and
budding. Was
sure
fucking one of them. The fucking.
Yes, but as a joke.
Yeah,
I actually think I said food. I think it was. I think I went quite deep because I then went on about my self-esteem and how I'm always like criticizing myself mentally, like always overthinking things.
You do overthink. You're massively always going, do you think this is all right? I'm like, yeah, everything's fine. Don't worry about it. But sorry, next can.
No, that's okay.
You're always,
I can't remember what else I said.
Doubting.
Food.
Doubting
food, family, and yeah. There we go. That's what it was.
It's in the comments?
Food, family, and the other. Yeah.
Holly's got a filthy mind this evening, isn't she? She's on one.
Finally, she asks, what is the worst or funniest lie you have had to say? The worst or funniest lie?
God. There's loads of obviously marriage jokes there, isn't there? There's loads, but I don't want to do them because I don't want people to think that's true. God. The funniest lie. I'm sorry. That's
You're thinking of a gag? You're thinking of a gag, aren't you?
No, I'm actually trying to think. I don't think I lie too much.
No. That's what funny enough, that's what I said. I'm not a deceptive person. But
I've got one, but that's I'm not saying that. That's not good.
Don't know. You don't know.
Yes. Again, I could say funny things. You know, I'm allergic to latex and these funny things, but I honestly don't know. I don't know.
No, I didn't know, so I just went with yes, Amanda. I'd love to have kids.
Yeah, well, I was going to say till death do us part. You know, but
I think we've got a better sense of your inner being through that. Trouble is now, Holly, we are strapped for questions, so you're going to have to supply some to me for next week. Okay, I'll tap you up about that. So that was Ask Us Anything. Thank you, Jimmy. It's got a greater sense, like I say, of you. You know, we can kind of get to know you a bit better. I think the audience.
I think you did get a bit of an idea there, because you got these sort of someone who's trying to be good, but from the title of my book, you got the idea that
Jimmy the Saint.
Other people might say different from his past.
Yeah, is he really a saint? Who knows?
No, it's massively ironic, but wearing the merch. I mean, Colin Doolan supplied the merch, so I'll keep plugging away.
Right, with that segment out of the way, it's time for us to react to a trailer in what we call Hot Takes. Here we are. Welcome to Hot Takes, the segment in the show where Jimmy the Saint and myself, Stuart, react to the latest, greatest cinematic or TV trailers. And Jimmy, for this week, I bring to you Halloween Ends, the trailer, the first trailer for Halloween Ends. Now, I was a bit dubious about bringing this because I know it's Comic-Con at the moment, and I thought I was kind of holding off, waiting to see if there's a big, I don't know, Marvel or whatever trailer. It usually comes out of these massive type events, but no, nothing's been forthcoming yet. So
when was Comic-Con? Today?
It's happening now as we speak. I think it might be this weekend. San Diego Comic-Con this weekend. Yeah.
Okay, maybe we'll do something during the week then, Stu.
Yeah, so there might be something for us to react to later on in the week, as you say, or certainly next week. But
Halloween Kills ends. So this is the third of the new trilogy. Isn't it?
It is a third of the new trilogy. I haven't seen any of the remakes. That was my initial question to you. Have you seen
I've seen none of the remakes. I've seen none of the originals. Mm-hmm. But I do. Oh no, tell a lie. I've seen.
What?
I think. Which one? I've seen the one with Busta Rhymes. Is that H2O?
Have you not seen the original Halloween?
No. I only watched Nightmare on Elm Street the other day for the first time, didn't I? Yeah.
Jimmy.
I wasn't a horror kid. Okay. And now I could watch it because I know it wouldn't scare me. Nightmare on Elm Street didn't scare me at all. It was great. I haven't seen it, but I do know do know loads about the first Halloween movie, probably more than most people who have seen the film, because I've watched documentaries on it. And
okay.
You know.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I have seen this trailer, so I'm not reacting to it cold. But we'll get into a conversation as it plays, or once it's played, around kind of some of the echoes between the trailer and possibly the last film and the very first film. But before we do that, let's kind of get into the meat and potatoes of this. And
just before you put the potatoes on.
Okay.
So
yes.
What happened is there was about 5 or 6 Halloween films, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
And then they did the new one.
Yeah.
Because there was the Rob Zombie Halloween as well, which is nothing to do with canon. I think there was 2 of those as well.
I think there was 2 zombie Halloweens.
Yeah, and they weren't the canon. But what they've done is they've gone back, and the latest one of these 3, or the first one of these 3, is now Halloween 2 or Halloween 3.
Yeah, I believe they followed on from the first film as the conceit of these.
So you get rid of all of the other Halloweens and put these 3 are the sequels, I guess, to Halloween, the first Halloween. And
this is Halloween Ends is them finishing it all. It's done. Believe that when I see it, but apparently it's done. So let me just queue up this trailer, and we'll take a look-see, shall we? Okay. Oops, I'm on the wrong tab.
I mean, that's what they did with the Terminator recently, didn't they? It was like, forget about Terminator 3 and all of those.
Yeah, just disregard those.
This is now Terminator 3.
Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? They'd never have done that in the past, and now it's just like, just
chuck them in the bin.
It's not. Stop worrying about continuity and canon and fucking hell.
Okay, so here we go. Oops, beg your pardon. There we go. Right, this is the first trailer for Halloween Ends, which is coming out later this year. I would imagine around Halloween would make sense, wouldn't it? Given the name. Right, let's take a look.
I'll let you know if we can hear it.
We can't.
No.
There we go. Oh.
Do you know John Carpenter wrote that music?
Let me turn up. Sorry.
Come on, let's go. Come and get me, motherfucker.
There you go, October 14th, Halloween End.
I'm Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
So, let's just rewind. I can't rewind, it's gone to that. Fuck's sake. Anyway, let's go. There we go, Halloween Ends trailer. Initial thoughts, Jimmy?
Get away from me, you motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, Laurie Strode's gone a bit. I don't know. I'm interested to watching this. I'm interested to go back and watch this series of 3 films.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard bad stuff about the previous 2 films.
Oh, okay. Perhaps
yeah, yeah, from the Red Letter Media guys that I watched. Just that it was just sort of so far away from the original, which is meant from what I understand, the first one is an excellent film in terms of it being a very straightforward story, and it works, and it was part of what started off all that slasher movie stuff, right? Interesting fact: the mask that he wears is a William Shatner Captain Kirk mask, with the ears cut off and painted white. There, little fact that most people know.
Yeah, I was humouring you, to be honest. Oh, really?
Yeah, I know. I could tell you knew.
I wonder if Shatner had to sign off his license for that.
No, because it was just a mask, wasn't it? That he bought from a shop, the guy.
Right.
Cut the ears off, painted it white.
Jobs are good.
Did something in the eyes as well, I think. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It looks like every other Halloween film. I love Jamie Lee Curtis. Like, I think she's a brilliant actress, and I love her in Trading Places and Total Recall and...
all those films 30 years ago.
Films, yeah. Born a hermaphrodite, obviously, famously urban legend. No, did I say Total Recall? She's not in Total Recall. True Lies, forgive. Brilliant actress back in the day, but now she's just pinging out these bloody Halloween films. Like, are they paydays for her? Do you think, or?
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
enjoying
they're Blumhouse films. I don't know what the budget is on like a Blumhouse production these days. It seems to be quite it's a well-known horror kind of film stable, isn't it? But whether it's a massive, payday for Jamie Lee Curtis, I don't know. But I quite like the look of that because it looked quite similar to, a lot of echoes to the first Halloween film, which is a bona fide classic. Particularly that the first-person footage going through the house, like you get in the first Halloween film, and it's revealed that it's like little tiny Michael Myers.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looked visually quite interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about Jamie Lee Curtis just firing off action hero one-line zingers.
Yeah, it's the Sarah Connor. It's the Sarah Connor trope, isn't it? Going from the damsel to the badass.
But I should probably go because I do love Halloween. It is a great film. Oh no, it's a classic film. We're going to talk about classic films later on, but yeah, it's got me thinking. Should I probably catch up with this and see what those two films are like? I've heard.
Oh, have you seen all the other Halloween films?
Well, I don't know. I don't think I've seen. Have I seen two? Because that went a bit. That was like off-brand, wasn't it? That was.
So you've only seen one Halloween film.
No, I've seen Halloween. I've seen H2O.
I've
seen Halloween.
Is that the one I've seen with Busta Rhymes?
I think so. And I've seen the Rob Zombie first one. Right. That was awful.
So that was a remake, wasn't it?
Yes, but Rob Zombified. Speaking of Rob Zombie, have you seen the Monsters trailer? Because he's doing a Monsters film.
Is there a trailer? Can we react to that?
Yes. Should we do that?
Yeah,
because it looks bad. It looks bad.
I did hear about it, and I heard about the casting, but I can't remember who they were.
He's got his wife in it, which I forget her name, and the guy from who's also in all his films. The guy who's in like a. Oh, you'll see him.
I know the guy.
Yeah.
But I've seen a couple of. Like, I watched House of a Thousand Corpses. Are we done with Halloween?
Yeah.
Go and watch Halloween.
Yeah. Do it. This is a 2-for-1 hot takes.
Twofer. I've watched House of a Thousand Corpses and I've watched Devil's Rejects. And my wife is a massive fan of House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects. I remember watching House of a Thousand Corpses and afterwards going, why did I watch that? It was horrible. So horrible. And now I kind of want to go back and watch it because it's got Rainn Wilson in it.
Is it really?
Yeah,
right.
Dwight. Dwight Schrute. He's one of the... He's one of the youngsters who goes to the house, and I think he ends up as Fish Boy on a platter as like half fish. But yeah, it's a fucking horrible film, isn't it? Rob's stuff. But I loved the Monsters. I was a massive fan of the Monsters.
Okay, so you were a fan of the Monsters. I'm not so sure now after this, but
okay.
Yeah, let's take a look at the Monsters trailer. Rob Zombie, the Monsters.
Loving that. Happy with that.
Rob Zombie, the director of House of a Thousand Corpses.
There you go.
Halloween.
There you go.
And the Devil's Rejects.
There you go.
Brings you the greatest love story ever told.
Oh, I don't like the sound of that.
Think of it. The brain of a super genius transplanted into the body of a perfect physical specimen.
I want a man that makes my blood run cold. A man that every time he enters my crypt, it's like a stake through my dead black heart.
I can whip the upper humpy down in the lamb.
Oh no. Remember what happened last time?
He was batty.
I'm gonna go.
Okay.
Looking for a vision, a queen, true love.
What exactly do you want?
Is Herman Munster in there? I knew the moment I laid eyes on you that you were special. I understand if you don't feel the same. I'm just a regular gal living a boring, normal life.
If there's one thing I know, is that the rest of the world melted away as soon as you appeared in my life.
It seems Miss Lily is truly in love.
Oh, come on, you know and I know that we gotta get rid of that bozo Herman Munster.
Greetings from Transylvania. That's a strange way of saying hello.
Oh, I guess we're gonna have to get used to it.
What? I don't even know what to say.
It looks like. Do you know what it looks like? It looks like one of those kind of like high production value pornos, doesn't it?
Oh yes, it does. Yeah, and
Not that I know what
high
those are
production
like.
porno, which suggests very low production movie. It looks really budget, and maybe
I couldn't hear some of it.
Is that Is that the idea? It reminded me of. Did you ever see The Munsters Today? Which was a reboot, right? When we were probably, well, it must have been the 90s.
Yeah.
So it was a colour version, wasn't it? They had the song, "We went to sleep many years ago, then we woke up with a brand new show," and it's in colour, right?
Yeah.
Because the original Munsters was good. The black and white Munsters was good. It wasn't the Addams Family, but it was, it was close. I don't know what to make of that, because it looked like there could possibly be some funny stuff in there, but...
No. It looked rubbish.
Yeah,
Rubbish.
it did, didn't it? It did.
No,
go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna. It looked like they were doing. It seems like they're doing the whole, that Starsky and Hutch thing where it's like, let's kind of take this period thing from like the 50s or the 70s or whatever it may be, and bring it and put them in like a fish out of water into like a modern setting.
That was great, Starsky and the Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson.
Yeah, that was great.
Good though, wasn't it?
But it's been overplayed, I think, and it doesn't particularly. I'm not sure I want to see that again with a poorly produced, cheap-looking Munsters.
No,
I'm sure there was a shot there where the camera was like panning in, and it kind of it's like it hit something.
maybe they've done that on purpose.
Or maybe, perhaps it is an aesthetic choice. I don't know, but I think we're giving it too much credit, Jimmy, if we say that.
I thought she was fine as what's her name? Herman Munster and what's his wife's name? Lily.
I don't know.
I thought she was fine as Lily. She's like the voice intonation she was trying to do. Grandpa Munster, is that his name?
I don't. We know
he seemed okay. I mean, at points Herman Munster seemed to be doing like a Christopher Walken. He was like, Lily, what's going on? I was like, what the hell is he doing?
That would be good.
Oh God, I'd love to see Christopher Walken do it. Why didn't they get Walken? If Steve Merchant can get Christopher Walken in a BBC show, they can get him for the Munsters.
I'm sure I read this week actually that this is not going to theatres. I think it might be a streaming premiere.
All right.
Whether it's
going to go
Netflix,
straight to DVD.
Well, that is kind of the equivalent these days, isn't it? Going straight to Netflix. It's I think it might be going to Netflix. I could be wrong, but
it depends. Like sometimes, like Netflix originals or Prime originals go straight on there, but they're usually pretty high budget, aren't they? Well, the bigger ones they push. But that looked, really weird. Really weird. Didn't quite know how to work. I'll watch that though. I will watch it.
I think
I'll
I
give
probably
it a
will.
go.
As a it's a curio, isn't it? I kind of want to see it because of how it looks just so weird and unlike Rob Zombie, to be honest.
Yes.
I know he's massive. I believe he took it on because he's a massive Monsters fan. But I think I would prefer to see like a proper Rob Zombie version of the Monsters.
Jesus, like a vile one. Like
Yeah.
a fucking vile.
That would
Maybe
be more
there is.
interesting than this.
Maybe it is. Maybe it's a bit of a bait and switch. They're doing that trailer, making it look all fun, and when you get it, it's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think like what it could be like. Like you've compared that to Starsky and Hutch, and yeah, it seemed like a comedy from the 90s, didn't it? Like a low budget comedy from the 90s. There was a third Addams Family movie called Addams Family Reunion, which loads of people don't know about. It was a straight to VHS.
Okay. Didn't know that.
And it had, well, there you go. See, I bring it. It had Tim Curry as Gomez. So,
Okay.
brilliant actor, but Tim Curry did a lot of shit as well, didn't he? I mean, he's still alive, but he did a lot of shit. Daryl Hannah as Morticia.
Okay.
So, already you're putting that up against Angelica Houston, who was... then you've got the guy playing Fester was... It harkened back to the original Fester, that sort of more goofy Fester, rather than the Christopher Lloyd... terrifying Fester. And then two randos as Wednesday and Pugsley. Same lurch. He's the only one. Yeah. And I think they go to...
I'll come back.
I'll do that. Money. He can't get lots of jobs, can he? Star Trek or the Addams Family. That's his lot. And I think it's the same thing. But they go to. I think they go to like a holiday park, like it's all bright and colourful. It's them in that. It's shit. It's dreadful. The only funny joke in it, which I actually said to someone the other day, is one of the other kids at the holiday camp says, "Oh, from my father, I've inherited a speedboat," or something like that. And Pugsy goes, "I inherited a spastic colon." And that's the only bit that made me genuinely laugh. The rest of it's just fucking appalling. Yeah. But yeah, it looked like that straight to VHS bodge.
It did, didn't it? Like, yeah. So kind of two contrasting hot takes there for you. Halloween ends. Looks okay. We're not sure because we haven't seen the others in the series. So, but the monsters, I think, look shit, but I think we're intrigued. I think
the irony is I'm watching the monsters and I probably won't watch Halloween.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. So bravo to Rob Zombie. Bravo. That was this week's hot takes.
Oh, was that it?
Yeah, I'm not ready with the transition.
Is there no? Oh, I thought we were going to do something.
No. There we go. We have to do it that way for the viewers. You have to do it that way so it's easy for me to chop it up and spit it out on the channel.
They know. They don't. You don't need to apologise to them.
That's me overthinking things again, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
Don't worry about
hot. That was hot takes. Right. What we got next? Oh, it's our top 5. It's our returning segment, Jimmy.
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay, I'll introduce it, and then we'll get into the meat and potato. I'm talking about meat and potatoes quite a lot this week. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Are you hungry?
I think I'm hungry. She's some fucking meat and potatoes. This is a segment.
Amanda, if you're listening, boil some meat and boil some potatoes.
Yeah. So everyone likes a list, and we've done this in the past where we kind of bring our top 5 of stuff and discuss it. So we thought we'd kind of make this into a segment of its own that we can throw out on the channel afterwards, and it's called Top 5 of Anything. Whoopah!
That's good, Stuart. That looks great. I mean,
look at that.
How long did it take you to come up with that title?
Seconds. It was the first one I thought of.
Top 5 of anything.
Yeah.
Start.
That's how I roll.
It looks great. I like being in white. I feel like we've gone holy.
I know, it's good, isn't it? It's good. So, yeah, this is a segment where we are going to kind of discuss our take a topic and discuss our top 5s. We're not necessarily going to order them, because I think we're having to think about that a bit too much, but just shove, I'll take 5 I love, Jimmy will take 5 that he loves, and we'll take some suggestions from the viewers, the top 5 of stuff that you love, and we'll just chat about it. And we thought we would go big on this first one, didn't we, Jimmy?
Yeah.
It's the topic that I think really can define a person. I can look at someone and they can give me their top 5 of this. I'll reveal it in a minute. And I can say, yeah, I like you. Or, you're an idiot.
I don't have time for you.
And we're going to talk about our top 5 favourite films. That's right. Top 5 favourite films. I think we should probably clarify at this stage. It's not, because there was some confusion during the week. It's not our top 5, the top 5 best pieces of cinema. Is that fair to say? It's just the top, our favourite 5 films of all time. So there we go. That was the criteria. We've both got 5, I hope. I certainly have. Colin Doolan there with a 5 stars. Yes. Hopefully it's a 5-star segment for you, Colin.
We'll put that on our review.
Yep.
Take it out of context.
I feel like we should kind of record this somehow. I know it would be up there on the channel, but I quite like the idea of creating a spreadsheet of some sort to log all of our choices.
Yeah, we can do that.
So I'm going to do that as we go.
Do it now?
We're going to do it as we go. Yeah, we've got
all night. And in the comments, if you want to put your top 5 movies in, it's a real hard question, and I think that's the best way to put it. As you put it, Stu, it's not what you think are the 5 best films of all time. It's your favourite films, and it does change throughout your life, doesn't it?
Oh, very much.
Of course, because your films go out all the time, so why wouldn't it?
Daily.
Daily Thompson.
There's a spreadsheet.
Oh, Jesus.
There is a spreadsheet. I love a spreadsheet. We're going to make a spreadsheet. We're going to make a spreadsheet. So, okay, Jimmy. How do we want to do this? Alternate?
Yeah, let's
5s,
alternate.
me, you, and then...
Yeah, alternate. And are we supposed to say why?
I think so. I think we need to elaborate. Otherwise, it's just us saying 5 films and fucking off, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, so I think we do need to elaborate.
Yeah, God, you're so quick at Excel. Look at that.
Yeah.
No wonder you got that promotion.
Yeah. Okay.
You go first.
Oh, okay, right. I need to get them up. I've got them on my notes. My notepad.
You can't remember 5 movies.
No. Okay.
Sometimes I don't remember to get up in the morning.
Mine are. I have ordered mine, but I do have a number 1, so I'm going to leave my number 1 till last. But the other 4 are pretty interchangeable, to be honest, as to where they would sit. Some of them might even make
1.
Oh, definitely. There's been a number 1 for 20 years.
Yeah, I've got number 1 actually. If I think about it, I've got number 1. So I'll save my number 1.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so first up, I'm gonna go with. I think it's a good one to kind of start with because for me, it helps define what I think of as one of my favourite films. I'm going with Lost in Translation.
Cool.
I don't know what year this was, like 2004, something around that time, 2003, 2004. Bill Murray as a kind of washed-up actor who has taken a job of advertising whiskey in Japan and is staying at a hotel. He's been staying at a hotel for some time, and he meets Scarlett Johansson, who is also kind of a similar soul. You know, they're both trying to find something. You know,
he's playing Bill Murray, isn't he? Basically,
pretty much.
Even though he's not washed up, but he's like.
Yes,
he's the actor. Yeah,
he doesn't have to kind of really. It's not a massive reach in his performance, to be honest. It is just him. And what I loved about this film is not only are Bill Murray, it is like one of my favourite Bill Murray performances because it is just Bill Murray. You know, just sardonic, kind of sarcastic, but strangely lovable. And just the relationship between him and Scarlett as they kind of find a purpose. It's like an unlikely love story. It's never really overtly stated whether they do finally kind of fall in love, because I don't know. There's just something a bit. I don't know. It feels a bit weird that Scarlett Johansson and Bill Murray.
Well, what's the age difference? What's the age difference, Stu?
I have no idea.
Do you know? I'm going to look it up as you're talking. You keep going. I'll do the googling for once.
But there is a there's that classic moment at the end where they kind of meet up together as Scarlett's. I think Scarlett is leaving. One of them's leaving. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen it. And Bill whispers something in Scarlett's ear, and we never really know what is said. But it's like one of those moments where you kind of don't want to know. Because you've been on this journey with them, and you kind of make up like a canon in your head about what's really happening and what happens to them after the film. And I think knowing what is whispered would ruin it somewhat. But Lost in Translation, for me, it's a film that really kind of it's just simple. I don't mean that like I don't mean that as a slight to it. It's such a purely simple film. Two people meet, they grow a bond. They're two fish out of water in this country that they can't speak the language, and they kind of just meet together, and the relationship blossoms. And it really kind of inspired me as to what filmmaking could be. It could be really something really quite simple, and it was quite an inspirational film, really, in that regard. And it kind of really made me want to, because I'd always loved film, as you know, growing up and stuff. Like, always got a passion for it, and always thought I think everyone thinks they've got a screenplay in them or something in them, like a film in them. Like everyone says they can write a book, but watching Lost in Translation and seeing how simple and pure it was, and just kind of like a story that anyone could have written, it inspired me to kind of go to university and go and study filmmaking and film history and stuff. And yeah, it's inspirational to my life, and it changed my life. I know that's kind of quite cheesy to say, but it really did, because it kind of steered me in a direction I didn't think I had the confidence to go and do. So that's why it's really important to me, and it's just a smashing, well-made film as well. So, yeah, Colin Doolan there with shot beautifully. Wonderful direction by Sofia Coppola.
Yeah.
Colin seems to be a fan. Yeah, Lost in Translation is incredible. So
good stuff. Good start.
Yeah, Lost in Translation.
Good start.
Jimmy, what's your first?
Okay. Oh, I've just realised there's an extra one on mine. Okay, let's take that out.
Top 6 of everything.
No, top 5. I'll stick to top 5.
Okay.
No. I'm right. The Running Man.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
The 1987, I'm going to say. I'll just say it. No one's Googling it. 1987 classic. Oh, yeah. Directed by Tony Slattery. I don't know who it's directed by.
Do you want me to Google it?
Yeah, if you want. Starring Arnold Schwarzenegger in one of his earlier roles. If anyone hasn't seen The Running Man, I do find lots of people haven't.
I haven't. I haven't seen it, Jimmy. I haven't seen it. No.
See, I find them everywhere. Lots of people have seen The Predator and Total Recall and Terminator, but Running Man slid them by. It is about Richard. What's his name? Richard Pritchard.
Curtis?
No, what's Arnie's name in it? Arnie's name in it is
Benjamin Richards.
Benjamin Richards, and he is he's like a police officer sort of thing. It starts off with him in a helicopter flying over these food riots that are going on in probably like 2010 or something. Actually, I think it's 2037 actually. I think, but there's food riots going on, and it's kicking off. He gets the call in. He's in a helicopter, and they're like, he's like 50,000 people, no one armed. The riots are going on or something, and they go, okay, fire at them, kill them. Basically, is the order he gets. He goes, there's women and children down there. They're just trying to get some food, for God's sake. And they're like, repeat, kill them. And he's like, I will not fire on these people. And then his team take him out, fucking smack him down.
Yeah.
Then they fucking shoot everyone. he gets arrested and put into prison because they put the blame on him for slaughtering all these people. He's called the Butcher of Bakersfield. And he's in a prison with a few guys where they wear these neck collars, and if they try and escape, the neck collar explodes. Needless to say, does escape, but he gets caught again. And there's a show, which is pretty much the only TV show on, called The Running Man, which is like a American Gladiators, or the English Gladiators, with Wolf and Hunter and Rhino.
Wild thing.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, that was Wolf's theme tune, wasn't it?
Yep.
So, yeah. Sorry, I had a story about that, but I'm not going to go down that route. So he gets asked to go on this show. You know, you go on this show or you can go back to prison. And he goes on this show, and basically it's like, you know, like Gladiators.
Wild thing.
I don't want to go too much into it because there's also a rebellion run by Mick Fleetwood.
I just saw he's in this. I'm thinking, what?
Yeah.
Is that a typo?
No, Mick Fleetwood is in it. He's the head of the rebellion, and his name in it is Mick. And when he meets him, he says, you worked for them, didn't you? Mick Fleetwood says this. He goes, you worked for those people. Why would I help you? They came over here. They burnt our books and destroyed my music. And you're like, my music? Is this Mick Fleetwood? and the thought is it may be Mick Fleetwood. But it's a basic story. Yeah. But Arnie's brilliant in it. And the main villain is the guy who's the game show host, who was not an actor. He was an actual game show host in the States. Okay. And it's just fucking brilliant. It's so good.
Jesse Ventura's in it.
Jesse Ventura's in it. He's one of
Captain Freedom. That's a great. Yeah. That's a good wrestling name, isn't it?
Yeah, he's one of the what they called not runners, because they're not gladiators. They're called I can't remember now. But the people who, you know, there's the runners who are the contestants, and then there's the
stalkers.
Stalkers, yeah. There's Buzzsaw, Captain Freedom, Dynamo, and
Professor Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero, yeah. Sub-Zero! Yeah, now just plain Zero. It's such a good film. It's so much fun. If anyone hasn't seen it, go and rent it on Amazon and watch it. The music's brilliant. It's wonderful. One of my favourite films. My nan used to rent it for me when I was 7 years old. My nan, 98 today, she used to take me down to Blogsy's video store and rent me The Running Man. Very violent, lots of swearing. Cheers now.
Days. Shut you up.
But yeah, that's up there.
In honour of Renee. Sorry, Renee.
Renee.
Right, it's me, isn't it? Okay, back to the list. What we got? Okay. I'm going to go very similar, really, to what my reasonings with Lost in Translation. Garden State.
Ooh, I have not seen this.
Okay, Garden. Oh God, I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, people don't need to see an Excel spreadsheet.
I was double click on it to fill it in. I didn't realise I had to fill it in on this screen. Christ. Garden State. So this stars Zach Braff and Natalie Portman. Zach Braff.
Wow.
Yeah.
This sounds terrible already.
Really?
Zach Braff and Natalie Portman in Garden State. Yeah, it sounds awful. Tell me. Sell it to me.
Okay, so what is the premise behind Garden State? So Zach Braff is kind of returning home to New Jersey. I think his mum's died. That's right. So his mum has died. He's returning back for the funeral, and he kind of, you know, he's a struggling actor, and he's been away, and he's kind of like the big name. It's a small community that he grew up in, right, and he's kind of like the guy that gets plucked from obscurity and does something with his life. But when he returns for his mum's funeral, everyone in that city, that kind of town is still there. It's kind of like been frozen in time, like all his old school friends are.
Like Mersey Island.
It is. I do think there is something about that relationship, you know, that hooked me on this film. And yeah, so he comes back for his mum's funeral, and it's just about him kind of reconnecting with his friends. He's a very troubled guy. You know, he's got some mental health issues, and He's kind of really struggling with his relationship with his dad, who's played by Ian Holm. And he kind of falls for Natalie Portman's character. And yeah, again, it's just all about their relationship. It's just a very kind of sweet, well shot, well written, well acted film. Zach Braff directed it and wrote it.
Wow,
it's great. It's such a good film. If you haven't seen it, I think one of the Skarsgårds is in it. Sheldon makes a cameo role in it.
Sheldon Cooper.
Yeah.
His name Jim Parsons.
Jim Parsons is in it. Is one of Zach Braff's school friends who just wears a full suit of armor because he works at like a medieval themed restaurant in the area. So he's just wearing that armor the whole time. You know, there's some kind of like trippy drug scenes in there, and yeah, it's. I haven't seen it for a long time, so I don't know how well it's aged. It's very much of the time. Like a lot of the music choices in there are kind of, you know, mid 2000s kind of indie tracks and stuff. And again, that's probably another reason why I liked it, because I was heavily into like my music at that time. So yeah, it's just a really interesting, very sweet, well written film, and I just love it. And again, it kind of around that time where I was kind of trying to figure out what I want to do with my life, and again, it was another film that I kind of latched onto, thinking, you know, this is really quite inspiring as well. So that's another reason why I like this. Very similar to my Lost in Translation reasons. But yeah, Jimmy, it's a great film.
Good. Well, I'm going to check it out, and it sounds like it's one I could watch with the wife.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I've seen it with Amanda. I don't think Amanda I can't remember. I don't think she loved it as much as me, but I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, put it on the spreadsheet. We've got a comment in the comments section from Colin Doolan. Sofia Coppola has another gem that's worth a go. It's called Somewhere. Stars Stephen Dorff.
Thank you, Colin. I've never heard of it. Okay. I must admit, I haven't really followed Sofia Coppola's career since Lost in Translation. So, interesting to give that a go.
One for you there, Stu.
Yep.
Get it in column B. Okay. My next one, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to bloody go for it. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. It's a Christmas film, sure, but it's up there as a film that I will watch every year at least twice.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Usually at Christmas. For anyone who hasn't seen this, I'm amazed if anyone hasn't seen it. And I think it does annoy a lot of people, but I don't think they've watched it properly. Because if you watch it from start to finish, it's amazing. And one of the amazing things about this film, it's similar to my number one film, which is pretty much every scene is like a sketch, or every scene is great. You could tap. There's no bit that's boring in the film. It's kind of like there's a few little emotional scenes, but they're pretty quick. Everything else is just Chevy Chase at his absolute best. And I mean, Chevy Chase was massive on Saturday Night Live, and he was suddenly, you know, he was doing these films. He was doing the European Vacation and Vacation as well. He was the biggest star. He was like the biggest star. Fletch Lives. He was hanging out with the Beatles. He was hanging out with presidents. He was playing golf with the presidents. He was one of the main people in the world.
Yeah, huge.
And then he had this massive fall from grace, which I think sent him a bit loopy. And you know, he didn't do anything for years. And now it's a bit of a tragic story, because loads of comedians meet him and. He's awful to them, and it's a shame because he's like their hero. And I saw one of the comedians who I like, who's in things like Burning Love, and you'd recognise him if you saw him. He pops up in loads of things. He said Chevy was coming back on Saturday Night Live, and he was doing it, and he went up because he wanted to introduce himself, and Chevy was chatting to someone, and he walked on and went, "Oh, Mr. Chase, I'm so and so." And Chevy looked at him and slapped him round the face.
Okay.
And he was like, and then he just walked off. And he was kind of like, fucking bastards just slapped me around the face, but also I can tell people that Chevy Chase slapped me around the face. And he didn't do it. He did it because he thought it was funny. Obviously, Chevy slapped him because he thought it was funny. And he said it hurt still. But he's mad.
Will Smith, isn't it?
Well, talk to me about Will Smith at the moment. But yeah, anyway, this is him at his best. And it's also, he's trying his best for his family. Yeah. That's what I like about this one more than probably the other vacations. He's really trying to give him a good Christmas. All he wants is a big family Christmas, and everything he does, it goes wrong. You know, and that's what I love about this film. He's trying to have the Christmas that we all want. He doesn't want a mundane Christmas, Drew. He wants the best Christmas with all the lights, the best dinner, his family there, the best tree. But everything goes wrong that he tries. But he rarely he doesn't get down until the end when he fucking loses his mind. But even in the you know, the start is them driving to get their Christmas tree, and he gets into a bit of road rage, and he accidentally ends up underneath a truck that's going along, and he's under the truck, and he's got his wife and 2 kids, and it's a truck. He's in there, and you know, everything's just gone wrong. And then he comes out and he flies up a off ramp and lands where they're selling Christmas trees. And as they're all tumbling around in the car, you know, they're all trying to get up, he goes, "We made pretty good time." You know, he always gives just there's a positive spin on everything until the end. But yeah, I love the film. It doesn't have to be Christmas for me. Like, I can watch that whenever.
Do you see a bit yourself in I forget the character's name.
Clark Griswold.
That's Griswold.
Yeah, I think so. And probably a lot of dads, you know, who and mums. You know, there's probably a lot of mums. You know, but I think mums, I think, get more stress because at Christmas, I say mum, you know, when you're in a family, whoever, you know, the person who's the main sort of person who's worried about the cooking and the presents, and, you know, there's one person who just wants to have a good time, but there's the other person who's doing the fucking work, you know. And in my house, I'll say it is my wife. She does the cooking. She buys the presents. I do the wrapping, but she does the brunt. Exactly, and I'm a wonderful rapper. But for most, you know, a lot of, you know, families, it is that the mum who has to do a lot of the work. But the dad just wants it all to be happy, and it's very difficult to get there because there's so much work involved. But I do. Very
stressful time, Christmas, and the Griswolds in this film make it. I do. It's a fantastic. It's one of my Christmas staples. But yeah. Excellent choice, Jimmy. Right, next up for me. Oh, I'm going to go with... I've got to have a Star Wars film.
Oh, you went for it?
I did, because I thought, having thought about your favourite films of all time, I've got to have a Star Wars film, surely, because it's moulded me to what it's the fandom I love most. And I've gone with my favourite Star Wars film, which is Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
I've gone with Jedi. I could have gone with Empire, but I always preferred Jedi because of the payoff. At the time, it was the end of the trilogy. I think it's got the best saber fight. You know, when Vader and Luke are fighting, and then there's that moment where Luke is kind of hiding, and he's trying not to think about Leia, and then Darth goes, "Sister, so," and then they're kind of like this massive operatic battle takes place, and it's like a panning shot where they're both going hell for leather. There's like the Williams score in the background. It's an amazing moment. And I just prefer the Battle of Endor over anything from Empire. You know, Hoth is great, but I do like the Ewoks. I like the forest as well. I think the snow is a bit, I don't know, it's a bit visually bland, I guess. No, Empire's a fantastic film, don't get me wrong. It's probably the best film.
Well, yes, it quite often comes like top of the 100 films or whatever. Empire Strikes Back as the best film ever, doesn't it? And
Indeed.
It is. It's the more interesting film, isn't it?
Yeah,
and
cinematically, film. It's probably the most interesting story. It's got the best twist. You know, it is the best Star Wars film, but the the film I like, the Star Wars film I like the best and belongs in my list is Return of the Jedi. So
it's true. I'm with you. When me and John Simmers, Scale Modeler, did our first Galaxy Heads podcast, we both said Return of the Jedi was the one that got us into the franchise. And I guess because we were young, but the whole...
It's an age thing as well. Yeah, I think that hit a good age for us.
Yes. Yeah. And the whole first act is Jabba's palace stuff.
Yeah.
Which is just amazing, all the Jabba's palace stuff. And then, the Emperor, who's incredible.
Yes. Darth's redemption. Oh, it's
the big complaint I hear about Jedi is that Han and Leia don't really do anything in the third act. They're just sort of running about in a forest, not really doing much. Whereas in Empire, there's huge amounts of character, and the first one is just a wonderful, A New Hope is just a wonderful story. But I'm with you, like I think. I was tempted to put Jedi on mine. Very, very close to put Jedi on mine.
Yeah.
And I should have a Star Wars on mine because for obvious reasons. Yeah. But I've kept the Star Wars films off just because I thought it would be too obvious.
Okay. No, that's fair. That's fair. Jimmy. Next for you, sir.
I'm going to go... It was really hard, this. I found this really hard. But I'm going to go District 9.
Oh, interesting.
District 9 again. This is another film that slipped past a lot of people. It is a film directed by South African man.
Neil Blomkamp.
Yes, Blomkamp. Wonderful. So he did District 9, and then he did Chappie, and then he did Elysium with Jason Bourne, Matt Damon. But in all three of those films, he has his main actor, who is a South African guy who played Murdoch in the A-Team remake, which I thought was pretty good, and he was great as Murdoch. And I can't remember the South African guy's name. If you could Google it for me, please, Stu.
I'm on it. Yep.
But District 9 is set in South Africa, and what has happened is a UFO has hovered above South Africa, and the army got into the UFO because it just hovered there for a long time, and they eventually they cut into it, and they found loads of aliens who they call prawns, which is a derogatory term for them because they look a bit like that.
Right, look like a prawn.
Prawns.
Sholto Copley. Sholto.
Yeah,
Sholto
that's why I can
Copley.
never remember his name.
Yeah.
But he's one of my favourite actors. He's so good. He's so good. So anyway, these aliens, they realise that they're in poverty. Basically, they've got nothing. So they set them up in an area in South Africa called District 9.
Okay.
And that guy, Copley, plays Vickers, who is part of the government who go in to sort of register them and keep an eye on them and check what they're doing. And it's just so... The interaction between the humans and these weird-looking aliens is amazing. The CGI of the aliens is amazing, and it's obviously it's not a political thing, but it's not a parody either. Was it a
I know what you're saying. It's interesting that it's set in South Africa, and you got kind of. Comparisons to apartheid and
exactly that's what it is, that sort of segregating all these people and putting them into one place, but what happens is Vickers gets caught up with these aliens. I won't say how because I don't want to spoil it, but he gets caught up with them, and then he becomes someone that the people are chasing after, and the CGI is amazing. The acting's amazing. It's a found footage movie as well.
Really? I do like found footage.
Yeah. Well, mostly found footage. Some of it is done inside their sort of camps, but a lot of it is CCTV. A lot of it is like documentary because they're talking to people about Vickers. Yeah, but there's other stuff that's not found. It's a really good mixture, and it's just incredible. Like I remember when I watched it, I was watching it on a train back from a friend of mine's who lived in Northampton, and I watched an hour of it on the train, and when we got to my stop, I was like, oh, shut my laptop, jumped on the tube, got back to my place in London, opened it up and got straight. I was so desperate to see the end of it.
That's good.
It is an amazing film. Yeah, it's amazing. Have you seen it, Stu?
I haven't, no. I really haven't.
I'm going to watch Garden State, and you need to watch
District
9. I think it's on Prime or Netflix. It's on one of them. Yeah.
Alex, hello, Alex. Alex, turn up. Where's my mouse? Sorry, I'm just trying to highlight.
Babysitter. Is she talking about her favourite film, maybe?
I don't know. Babysitter. That's on Netflix, isn't it?
I don't know.
I think
I know one of her films that we really liked as kids was Adventures in Babysitting, which was amazing.
Yes. With Elizabeth Shue.
Oh, Elizabeth Shue.
Who we mentioned a couple of weeks back because of The Boys.
Was that her? Oh,
yeah.
I'd sniff her shoe. Alex, Alexandra, if you want to go deeper into what you mean by babysitter, let us know.
Okay, next up, I've got to go with a film that I rented out many times. Well, my mum rented it out for me. Ghostbusters. Got to have Ghostbusters.
I knew you would. I knew you bloody would. Another Bill Murray joint.
That's a bloody good point. There's 3 Bill Murray films in my top 5. Holy shit, I just realised.
I know what your next one is after. I thought there was another Bill Murray coming as well. I thought Ghostbusters and one more.
What's to say about Ghostbusters? An absolute kind of stone cold classic. 80s classic. Not just an 80s classic, just a classic. Kind of... It's almost, it's one of those kind of big films that, what's the word I'm looking for? Not inspirational, but kind of, I can't think of the word. Forgive me. But, it's, what is the fucking word?
An inspiration,
like trend setting, no, it's, I can't think of it.
Scratch the head more, Stu.
Anyway,
not an inspiration, a revolution, a one-off, a classic,
no, it doesn't matter.
Are you talking about something that started off like a genre of movie?
Yeah, it's kind of like a big kind of, it's a comedy, but it was also, sci-fi horror. It's kind of like, wasn't it one of the highest grossing comedy film at one point?
Right.
I think at one point it was, but anyway. I kind of completely lost my train of thought, but I don't know really much what more else to say about Ghostbusters than that it's a stone cold classic, and it's got Bill Murray. It's got a fantastic kind of ensemble cast: Weaver, Ramis, Murray,
Aykroyd,
Hudson, Moranis.
Moranis,
it's just so many just amazing kind of 80s cinematic figureheads all in one film, just kind of being funny, great effects for the time. Still kind of hold up, really, I think.
Yeah. We watched it the other day in this house with the kids.
Did you? What did they think?
Yeah. They just wanted to see the ghosts.
Right.
Yeah. But it's a perfect film. It's perfect.
Yeah. It is. I do love the sequel. I know the sequel gets a lot of hate, but in some respects, I often prefer to watch the sequel.
Some of the complaints that the sequel gets, it's a beat for beat remake of the first one.
I don't think that's a bad thing.
Well, it's a bad thing if you want something new.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair play.
But I agree. As a kid, I always preferred the sequel. As a kid, I thought it was the more fun film.
I think I did.
And I love the Eiffel Tower, the Statue of Liberty at the end. With the music. If you notice in the sequel, Bill Murray rarely wears the suit. He rarely wears his the overalls. He's in his clothes most of the time. But the first one is just these schlubs who get kicked out of their university, their jobs, don't they? Because, well,
they're schlubs.
Yeah, they're
the
chances.
Chances.
Bill Murray's trying to shag his students. And,
Good lad.
And then Bill Murray convinces Dan Aykroyd to what? Does he mortgage his house? I think so they can get the fire station and get things going. It's just perfect, and it's interesting because there's a wonderful documentary about Ghostbusters on the movies that made us on Netflix. Okay.
I haven't seen that yet, but yeah.
It's brilliant, and they talk about how Aykroyd and Ramis's original script is just huge. It's and that's the thing with Aykroyd. He'll just write loads of stuff, and it needs a really good script editor to hone it into a story.
Yeah.
And the story's perfect, and I think that's the thing with a lot of these 80s movies. There's they're perfect stories done. They're simple. With a good film, it doesn't need to be overcomplicated.
No, exactly. Yeah, and that is kind of, you can see in a lot of my films they are just simple kind of stories. Simple stories for simple man, Jimmy.
No, but that's what works.
It does.
And it can have a twist. That's fine, but it doesn't need to go everywhere when actually it adds nothing to the film.
No. Yeah. An iconic film. I think that might be the word I was trying to think. Iconic.
God, yeah.
Love it. Ghostbusters is in the top 5.
Comments
come
in
back
the comment
with
section. Yeah.
Deer Hunter. That is a good film. Depressing as hell, but it is good.
Yeah. And Adventures in Babysitting she's mentioned.
Yeah. Also depressing, but also good. No, I haven't seen Adventures in
Babysitting?
I haven't seen that for a long, long time.
I can't watch it now because Anthony Rapp from Star Trek, who's one of the lads in it, is one of the young guys who apparently Kevin Spacey forced himself on.
Oh.
When Anthony was 14.
Oh my God.
At a Hollywood party, and Kevin Spacey was in his 20s, and he launched himself at him.
Jimmy, don't bring the mood down. We're talking about our top 5 moments of anything.
That's what I'm saying. Like, when it's hard to watch, it's weird. I can separate Kevin Spacey from what he did in his films, but when I watch that, all I see is Kevin Spacey.
Jimmy, your 4th film, please.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna push the button. RoboCop.
Oh yeah. Sweet.
RoboCop.
Yeah.
Directed by Blum.
Paul Verhoeven. No.
Paul Verhoeven, yeah. Again, another 80s perfect film, when a film makes complete sense. Everything that happens should happen to the goodie and the baddie. Mm-hmm. Again, there's another brilliant Movies That Made Us on Netflix about RoboCop. That whole Movies That Made Us show on Netflix is amazing. But RoboCop went through a lot, and the director was a real complicated guy. That chap. Is he French or Dutch? Belgium?
Dutch, I believe.
Dutch.
Yeah, it could be. Forgive me if I'm wrong on that, but I think he's Dutch.
I think you're right. I think he's Dutch. Real complicated cat. Went over budget loads and did lots of things. But it's again, if people have missed RoboCop because they're older, they're younger, than us. Oh God. I think it gets better when you're older. When you're younger, it's a good fun action film. When you're older, you watch it and you realise the satirical poke at where the world is going with big business, and they have lots of trailers for films in it, or TV shows like Running Man does as well. They're both these futures
very similar,
where the media has gone fucking nuts. And RoboCop works for the police, but he's owned by OCP, the Omnicorp Corporation. Omnicorp. So they're above the police. The corporations are above the police, and they put RoboCop in there. And again, just another brilliant satirical look at a possible future where there's this robot going around just as a police officer who was a human being, but the corporations are corrupt as fuck, and he starts to realise that. And it's violent and bloody, but over violent and bloody, so it's ridiculously bloody, which is hyper violence, which is why it works. It doesn't need to be realistic, because realistic is too real for this. It's hyper, and again, it's just probably 1987. I think saw it when I was 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Cheers, Nan.
Renting
out these films for me. But it's just a brilliant film, and a good Ghostbusters. Running Man. These films, they just make sense, and they poke fun at things, and you can follow the story easily with good acting and good storytelling.
A lot of dystopian futures in your favourite films.
Yeah. That's weird, isn't it?
A little bit. But also a running theme, films from our childhoods, that moulded us. I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's fair to say. Yeah. Kind of stayed with us as well. Okay, here we go. Let's get it. I don't need to look at my notes. My last entry, and it is my number 1. Here we go. Groundhog Day.
I knew it was coming.
It's my number 1 film of all time ever. Bill Murray at his best for me. You're seeing a man who, the conceit of the story he's a weatherman who goes to this kind of he goes out to Punxsutawney in Pennsylvania, where they have the annual Groundhog Festival, where they pull out the groundhog. He sees a shadow. He doesn't see a shadow. Blah blah blah.
It's a real thing, isn't it?
It is a real ceremony that takes place. Yeah. But in the film, he relives this day over and over and over, like thousands of times. It's implied, and it's a very spiritual film, I think, for me. And not just for me, but I think where you can read the film as a very spiritual film. I think there are some aspects of and I've read quite a few essays and stuff about this film, and I believe there are some Buddhist, almost religious tenets kind of explored in that, kind of this ideal of kind of perfecting yourself through repetition, and I think I don't want to go too much into it because I don't want to butcher it completely, but there is a religious element, spiritual element to Groundhog Day that is often kind of overlooked. But it's just Bill Murray being amazing and kind of having a range of characters throughout it. It's the same man, but he's super arrogant at the start. Then he kind of he then realizes that he can kind of he can exploit the situation by trying to shag women and just enjoy himself over these endless lifetimes. Then he kind of falls into a depression and tries to kill himself thousands of times, and he kind of finds acceptance and self-improvement, and then he kind of just gets the girl at the end, the girl being Andie MacDowell, so kind of don't know why I bothered, but
what
no, because she's a terrible actress, I think. In this, she's not great in this. I've seen her be okay in other stuff. That recent series we watched with her in was pretty good. What was that called? I can't remember. That Netflix show.
Is Andie MacDowell the one that Ted Danson's with?
I don't know. But yeah, Groundhog Day is a film that I have seen. I don't want to say how many times I've seen it, but I can watch it and get something from it, something new from it every time I watch it. You can pick something up in the background of a scene. It's just a very clever moment. That's kind of playing on the repetition angle of the film, like just a little moment here or there. And it's
Mary Steenburgen. I'm thinking of. Sorry, Stu.
Okay. Christ. The maid, yes.
Before weddings, isn't she?
Thank you, Alex. Is the maid. Andie MacDowell's in The Maid. She plays the mother of the young lady who has the child. Yeah, thank you.
Alex has been throwing in some war films on the side there.
Papillon.
Yeah, I've never heard of her talk about war film, but Yeah, good films.
So yeah, Groundhog Day, my number one, amazing. Depth to it that you might not see initially. Great performances from Bill Murray and oh God, what's his name?
The cameraman.
Yeah, Chris something.
Hmm.
I can't remember the actor's name. Do apologise, but yeah, I just love Groundhog Day.
If he's watching, I do apologise.
Yes. But I love that film, and I can't express my love for it. I can't
I haven't watched it. I haven't watched it for years, and every Christmas I say to the wife, I say, "Let's watch Groundhog Day," because it's a slight Christmassy film because there's snow and But she goes, no, and this Christmas I'm going to insist because it is a brilliant film. Yeah. It's amazing that you've had 3 Bill Murray films.
It was unintentional, but yeah.
If we do a 5 best actors, I think people won't be surprised who your number 1 is.
Yep.
Just so you know, Stu, I looked up the ages of Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson for Lost in Translation. Bill Murray at the moment is 71 and Johansson is 37. So there's an age difference of 44 years? Is my maths on there? No, 34 years, sorry.
Wow.
So they probably did the film, 10 years ago?
I think it's got to be 20 years ago now.
All right, so she was 15
that was filmed.
And he was 84. Is my maths off there? But yeah, it is weird though because you do kind of want them to get together.
Yeah.
And he's not pervy in it. He's not pervy, is he?
No, it's bittersweet. It is like a. It doesn't feel out of place. You don't look at it and go, ooh. You look and go, oh. They should be together.
He just comes across so nice and vulnerable, doesn't he? Alex Turner, sorry, Lost in Translation, superb film.
Yep, thank you, Alex, it is. Thank you.
So, number one for me.
Yep.
There was only one film that always pops in my head as number 1, that's Goodfellas.
Goodfellas, it is, yep.
The Martin Scorsese classic starring Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, and old Ray Liotta. We lost him this year. God bless
did, yes.
His evil-faced soul.
Right.
Such an amazing film, and this is what I was talking about with, like, Christmas Vacation, but this even more so. There's not. It's a movie made up of scenes, which obviously every film is, but no scene is filler. No. Like every scene is either essential and brilliant or just an amazing scene. And it's one of those films where if you turn it on at any point, you go, "Oh, I love this scene."
Yeah, I'll just watch for 10 more minutes.
Yeah. And you can watch the whole thing
2 hours later. Yeah, amazing. I do love that film.
Everything in it, the soundtrack, the acting. Ray Liotta never did anything as good as this afterwards. And it's weird that Scorsese didn't use him again afterwards. De Niro and Pesci at their best. And then the sort of follow-up Scorsese film to this was Casino, which again is an amazing film. But it's probably about 45 minutes longer than Goodfellas. And it's similar, but it's more in depth, and there's some lower points and some more heavier bits. Whereas Goodfellas, even though it's quite a dark film, it seems quite jovial in its way, in the music. That da 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 da. Ever since I was young, I always wanted to be a gangster. Da 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 da.
Almost. Do you think glamorizes it a bit?
Yes, like mad. Yeah, which.
You think, I could be a gangster. I could see myself doing this. It's but that's fun.
I don't mind it glamorizing it because you can't just go out and be part of the mafia. Like, it's not something you can just go and do. If it was glamorizing like being a drug dealer or a murderer, that's different. But it's glamorizing being part of the mafia in 1960s or whatever. Like, you can't go and do it.
I don't think ultimately it doesn't glamorize it because everyone pretty much faces a horrific end, don't they? Either they eventually fall into drug abuse or get shot or whatever it is.
Yeah, end up in prison.
Get whacked.
Yeah. It all goes to shit. But it's again, if people haven't seen Goodfellas, and go, oh, it's an old, it's just an old movie. It's like, it's not. Like you if this movie was made now, it looks like, if you didn't know it was the actors of the day, like, it could come out tomorrow. It's still relevant. It looks amazing. The acting's amazing. The story follows Henry, played by Ray Liotta, who's half Irish, half Italian, and he's just trying to make his way through these gangsters. As trying to become a maid. Well, he can't become a made man because he's not fully Italian, but just trying to make his way as a gangster. And it's a true story. It's based on true story of Henry. And I mean, I don't even know what else to say about it. It's just an amazing. And there's a few gruesome bits in it, but not too gruesome. And the acting's incredible. And I was chatting about this the other day was we chatting about it on the show, where you see something like Stranger Things or Breaking Bad, where the actors are incredible, and then you see the actors in other things, and you go, nah, they're not that good, and you realise how it's the actor in the right part with the right acting and right directing and right music that makes that
That's true.
amazing.
Yeah. And Goodfellas is all that. It's like a perfect storm. It's amazing director, getting the best out of his performers. Amazing soundtrack. You're right. I love the Goodfellas soundtrack. Just some of the shots, cinematography and shots in that film are incredible. Like that like one take shot going through when Henry takes his wife through the
That's
club.
the famous one take in it.
Amazing.
Loads of films have done that since. That started it.
I didn't know this. Colin Doolan bringing the facts. Martin Scorsese's mum plays Joe Pesci's mum in the film. Did not know that.
Yeah. Do you remember that scene where they go round to get a knife because they've got to cut the body up, and they wake her up and she comes down and starts making them food, and she shows them the painting and she tells that great joke. Cracking
pick, Jimmy. Cracking pick. Look at it. That's a solid 10 films from us, I think.
A quick comment in the comments section from Alex Turner. What does he say to her at the end? I presume he's talking about Lost in Translation. We spoke about that earlier. Yeah,
we're not sure. And I'm not sure, Alex, that I want to know, to be honest. So I kind of like to keep that in my own head canon. That's kind of, I want to make up that story of what happens. Not in a disgusting, pervy way, but, in a bittersweet, they kind of get together and go off and find each other.
I reckon he said, do you do it, doggy?
God.
Has Bill Murray never said it in an interview? It sounds like something he'd make a joke about in the interview, not what I said.
But this process isn't all about us, Jimmy. We have gone out to our viewers and listeners, and they've come back with some of their own top fives. I'm going to go to the Facebook page first.
Yeah, do it, man.
Of course, Holly has come in with her top 5 films, and they're in no particular order. And again, she wanted to clarify that they kind of do change on whatever day that you're asking her. So she's gone Chitty Bang Bang.
Wow.
The Hole. I haven't seen The Hole.
Going back to her filthy roots, which she spoke about earlier. Chitty Bang Bang Hole. Yeah.
Sorry, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The original. Chitty Bang Bang. Titanic. Goodbye Christopher Robin, and The Hole. That's an eclectic choice, isn't it? And again, it's not about what we feel are the best films ever made. It's our favourite films. So all of these choices are justified in my book.
Well, I would. So she means Willy Wonka, right? And the Chocolate Factory.
Yes.
The Americans named it. I'd definitely put that in my top, maybe 40 or something. Or 30 even. That's an incredible film. Yeah, I love Willy Wonka.
Again, iconic. We've mentioned that word a lot. Iconic, and that is.
And Titanic is a cork. I watched Titanic 3 times at the cinema.
Did you?
Yeah, 3 times.
Yeah, they were dates, surely, weren't they?
No. Mum and Nan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think Alex Roth came with us one time.
Wow.
3 times? That seems excessive now. And I can't remember who I saw it with, but I definitely saw it 3 times. How weird. I can't remember who I saw it with. But they weren't dates. No, I was young at the time. We were like 16, I think.
Okay, yep. Thank you for those, Holly. Yeah, some interesting picks. Goodbye, Christopher Robin. That's the...
Is that the Ewan McGregor one?
Yeah, that's what I think so. That's a recent film, isn't it? Interesting. Have you seen that Winnie the Pooh horror film that they're making?
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks crazy.
Why? Why do that?
Yeah. So is that because, like, I guess maybe has Winnie the Pooh come out of like copyright or a copyright protection because it's so old now that you can do whatever the hell you want with it? I can't imagine there being no other reason why you would kind of mess with that. Ben Wyatt's.
What we got?
He gets no retreat, no surrender.
Oh, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
It's a Wonderful Life. Two very opposite ends of the spectrum.
Do you know, I only saw It's a Wonderful Life 2 years ago at Christmas. Me and my wife finally said, let's sit down and watch it. We'd never seen it before, and everyone bangs on, especially in America, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
They bang on about it all the time. We sat down and watched it, this old black and white film, and fuck me, it was incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I was so
Jimmy
blown
Stewart.
away.
Oh,
he's so sexy.
Charismatic to fuck.
War hero as well. He was a war hero. I say hero, he killed loads of people.
Yeah, but Nazis, that's fine. End of Evangelion? End of Evangelion. I haven't heard of that. Forgive me, Ben, if you're watching this and I butchered that. A New Hope, so he has chucked a Star Wars film in there.
Right.
And Interstellar.
Oh,
That's
interesting.
The
Christopher Nolan.
Yes, Nolan.
Matthew McConaughey.
Yes.
It's a film. Like when I mean, like it's epic. I'll give it that.
Jimmy, have you got any?
Yep.
Any choices for us?
I've got my wife's choices.
Excellent.
Which was funny because I could have. I did. I guessed all of my wife's choices, and this is how well I know my wife. But I could guess all of hers. She did WhatsApp them to me, I think. Hold on. I mean, I know them all. Where do they fucking go? Hold on.
Whilst you find them, I'll do Benjamin's because he has supplied some.
Oh, you got your sons? Yeah.
I question them. He's 5. He goes Infinity War. Okay.
Brilliant.
Jurassic Park.
Brilliant. I was tempted to put JP on one of mine.
Empire Strikes Back. Spider-Man 3.
With Venom.
Yeah, he likes.
Wow.
Black
Considered
Suit
the worst Spider-Man.
He loves it.
I love Spider-Man 3.
Yeah. And Endgame. So, yeah, he loves a bit of Marvel.
They're great. That's a great 5.
Isn't it? I thought so.
Yeah. And Endgame, do you know, I found out something horrendous today. Rotten Tomatoes, critic score, Miss Marvel scored higher than any other Marvel film or TV show, including Endgame, which is I think like 96%. Miss Marvel's at like 98, which says a lot for critics. So my wife's 5.
Yep.
I love these because these are all amazing films, and this is one of the reasons I love my wife. Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Okay.
Which I could have put on mine, to be honest. Princess Bride. Labyrinth. Howl's Magic Moving Castle. And Practical Magic. Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only one which it's a good film, but it's just a bit of a witchy sort of nice witch. My wife loves a bit of witchy. She loves a bit of witchy. So it's a good witch film, but with a slight bit of rom-com in there.
Yeah.
But Labyrinth, Princess Bride, Rocky Horror, I mean, Howl's, they're just
That's a solid
80s,
list. That's a solid
80s
list.
classics.
Yeah.
Alex Turner.
Yeah, she's clearly thinking about stuff going forward. Oh, Little Shop of Horrors, got to chuck that in there. I don't know how many Alex is up to now. This is like 3 or 4, maybe. I think you've got a couple of choices left, Alex.
She's got one left, I think.
That is a good choice though. Little Shop of Horrors.
I watched a thing about Little Shop of Horrors the other day, and the reason why the Audrey too, when it's singing, looks so good, is because the miming is done quickly. So
right,
Rick
and they slow it down?
Yeah, and then they slow it down. But that meant that Rick Moranis had to... It's either slow or quick. Like he had to mouth quicker and move quicker or slower to time it with this puppet to make it look as... Again, Rick Moranis.
Interesting.
We lost Rick Moranis, didn't we? Because his wife, unfortunately, she died of cancer. So he left Hollywood to look after his kids. So hence why he just stopped in the 80s. And I mean, I don't know what his last film was. Maybe My Blue Heaven or something. Which, interestingly enough, My Blue Heaven is Rick Moranis and Steve Martin is a sequel to Goodfellas in a weird way, because it's based on. Steve Martin is playing the Henry character.
Henry Hill.
Yeah, from Goodfellas. But it's a comedy, and it's directed by, I think, Martin Scorsese's wife at the time. It's really weird. It's a real tenuous sort of link. It's not an actual sequel, but it is based on that character. Because My Blue Heaven, Steve Martin's this ex-gangster who goes into this normal neighbourhood and meets Rick Moranis. Yeah. There you go.
Alex comes in with Dirty Dancing. Another solid choice.
Yeah. She's laughing at all of hers, but she loves them. She's just throwing that out there so people don't take the mick.
Probably would have made mine. Dirty Dancing and Pretty Woman probably would have been very close. Probably my top 10.
Pretty Woman, really?
Yeah, I love it. Yes, I've got Amanda's here. Let's round it off with Amanda's, because these are some choice. Okay, she has gone Endgame and Infinity War, so she kind of likes that twofer Marvel. Deathly Hallows Part 2. She likes the payoff of the Harry Potter franchise. So she's a massive Potterhead. Yeah. Air Force One.
Wow. Harrison Ford and Gary Oldman at their
finest. Is the word you're looking for.
At their acting.
And Father of the Bride. Love that film.
That's a great film. I'm with your son and Amanda on Endgame. Endgame would have made mine if I was including the Marvel films. It's such an amazing end.
Just a payoff, isn't it? It's just
but I feel like if you're putting Endgame, you're having everything leading up to that. Iron Man, Guardians, Captain, all of those lead up to Endgame, doesn't it?
Interesting. I don't think I would ever watch Endgame just on its own. I think I'd have to watch Endgame having watched everything that came before it.
Really? I would. Not Endgame. I'd watch Infinity War and Endgame. But
I don't think I could watch either of them without watching the whole lot.
Really? Lucky you've got a good 40 years left, Stu, in your life.
Colin Doolan, Once Upon a Time in America is amazing. Set in the 1920s, 30s. James Woods, De Niro, 4 hours though.
Yeah. What more do you want? I love James Woods.
Jimmy, this has been great. I've loved it. Yeah. But look at the time.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. So
I think let's talk about some of the things you want to talk about in the Week in Geek. We'll leave mine.
Okay.
And then we'll get on with some other bits.
Okay, but that was a great first episode of top five of anything. So yeah, really enjoyed that. Thank you again. We'll head back to our usual programming. I don't know how to end. I don't need the spreadsheet anymore. I don't know how I need to practice on how to sign that segment off. But yeah, that was good, Jimmy. That was good.
Thanks.
Right. We'll do a curtailed The Week in Geek. We'll just kind of hit some of the key points, I think, and then wrap the show up. But it's been a good show. I've really enjoyed it, Jimmy. So yeah, let's just take a look.
Hang on, we've still got about a good 30 minutes left, haven't we?
I know, yeah.
Oh God, I thought you was going to rush off.
Oh no,
we had some sort of important engagement you had to be at.
No.
I've got nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Right, yeah, let's take a look at the Week in Geek. Nice. That's a great sound. The first thing I'll do some news first. Let's just check the. Good evening, Rock. Hello, Rock. Lovely to have you, sir. Thank you for joining us. Rock, chuck in your top 5 films of all time. We've just done that segment, but I'm genuinely interested to know what kind of films you're into. I hear you. I read you tweeting about films, and you seem like a well-read man. So do let us know. I mean, I'd be intrigued to know.
All right, Stu, get a room.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah. First up is my new story is Netflix. They're beginning their account sharing crackdown, Jimmy. I don't know if you are much of a account sharer.
Big time.
I know we kind of share accounts of this and that. Not Netflix though, I hasten to add. I think I only share Netflix with my father-in-law actually. But that might soon have to change, to be honest.
We have an account where you can have multiple profiles. So don't we? I think we pay more for that, don't we? When I say we, I mean me and my wife.
I think you do, and I think it is tied to like the quality of the stream as well. Yeah, so I think if you have like the HD plus, you want multiple accounts, or I don't know.
Well, we'll have whatever the most expensive account is. Yeah, my wife booked it.
Yeah, but Netflix are starting to crack down on password sharing, so they're bringing in this scheme where they're going to charge you extra if it's detected that your account is being streamed outside of your home IP address. So if someone, say, you give your password to your dad or whatever, and they start streaming on another IP address, then they will add an additional charge onto your account.
So here's the thing, Stu. They've tried this, didn't they? They were trying this in like Guatemala or whatever.
Oh, this is exactly what this story is. Yeah. That's kind of my story. Is it's been trialed in Argentina, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and the Dominican Republic.
Guatemala, fucking called it Guatemala.
But yeah, it does feel like the thin end of the wedge. In that it feels like it's an inevitability. I mean, they've been hemorrhaging subscribers, haven't they, Netflix recently, and I don't know. Perhaps this is them trying to recoup some of the potential losses. But I also think it could be contributing to more people leaving there.
Well, yeah. Here's one of my issues, Stu. I use my Netflix at home, but I also use it on my phone as I travel. I use it on my laptop if I sat at a funeral, or if I'm yeah, I know. I thought I might get a laugh. Or if I'm at my office, which is, on another road, I've got my TV, I've got my Fire Stick, I have Netflix on it because I have Star Trek on in the background as I work. Like music, I don't have to watch it. I've seen it 1,000 times. So can I not use that down there at my other office?
That's interesting. I don't know, actually.
Or if I go to a hotel and I want to watch, something on If I want to watch, The Boys on that's Prime, whatever on Netflix, can I not use it in a hotel, Stu?
Well, that would technically be enough. I mean, I don't want to get into the weeds of the technicalities, but I guess I assume that would be another IP address.
What is an IP address? I know, like I've heard. I know I could go. Well, an IP address is your thing, but I know what it is.
Yeah. Well, that's all. I'm just playing some stuff in the background as we chat.
That's nice. I like it.
Let me see. Well, let me see what the story says. Whether it kind of elaborates on what the criteria would be. So,
I mean, we lend our Netflix to my mum and dad, and they live, I don't know, half a mile up the road. Like, have they got a different IP address to me?
So let's have a look. So, first reported by Bloomberg, customers in Argentina, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and the Dominican Republic are being asked to pay a fee for regularly using their account outside of their home. Don't know what that was. However, this will not affect the use of Netflix on mobile devices. Okay, so that suggests that if you're kind of watching it on your phone or a laptop, potentially, then it doesn't affect that, which makes sense because then that negates some of those scenarios that you've said. But so the price of adding a home to your account varies, but is no more than $2.99 US in any of the affected countries,
which is about £2 our UK
Netflix says more than 100 million households are using shared accounts, and that password sharing is particularly high in Latin America. Okay.
I mean, I get why you wouldn't want it. I get why a company wouldn't want it, of course.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's. I guess it's a hard thing to manage. Like I don't know how they're going to manage that. My parents were panicking the other day about it. It's like, you're not going to get arrested. For a start, you're in your 70s. So you're not going to get arrested for using our Netflix. I've been trying to get them to use my Disney Plus. And God, they won't go up against Walt. They really won't.
No, why would you? Yeah. I think, like I say, I think it's just an interesting story because I think it could be the start of other companies thinking about taking this kind of this kind of tactic and trying to limit people's use of sharing accounts. So.
Which I think would be a bad thing because I agree.
Oh, gotcha.
Netflix doesn't have enough for a lot of people. It has enough for me, maybe. But I'll be honest, mostly I watch YouTube and Prime. So there's some stuff on Netflix that I watch, but mostly I watch YouTube and Prime. So I imagine there's more. I'm an addict. I'm a TV addict. So there's going to be a lot of people with Netflix go, "What? We can't all get it together. I can't split the cost with 3 of my. Oh, fuck this. We're out."
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's. I mean, I agree. I'm not a massive Netflix user, to be honest. My main streaming service is probably Disney Plus, and just whatever's on Sky. I guess it's Sky, to be honest. Whatever's on Sky, which does, to be fair, aggregate a lot of content from other providers. But Disney Plus and Sky stuff is what I tend to watch, and YouTube, obviously.
I think this is a bad idea. Surely they're making enough money. So you're going to have to excuse me for 1 minute. I can carry on hearing you, but I'll be back.
Okay. Whilst Jimmy does that, I'm going to show off I've got some Lego news, essentially, for you. And it is Nintendo. Lego have... and let me mute Jimmy. I don't want to say anything untoward. Let me say... Atari 2600. There's a Lego Atari 2600. Let's take a look at it. This kind of follows in the footsteps of the Lego Nintendo Entertainment System, the NES, which was a fantastic model. The Lego Atari is a similar great Lego set. 2,500 pieces. They could have done 2,600 pieces, but they didn't. Let me just bring up a video for us all. Let's just play that.
Well, you're just a little bit...
I'm just going to mute that whilst I go through the news story itself. But yeah, Lego are bringing out an Atari 2600 for $239 US. Like I say, it's got 2,532 pieces. Seemed a shame not to make it 2,600 pieces, but there we go. But yeah, this looks great. I do keep eyeing up that Nintendo model as well, but I think if they start bringing out a range of these classic console in Lego form, I think it could be great little collector's pieces. I never had an Atari, but I'd quite like, so I don't have really much of an affinity with Atari products, but as a video game fan, this does look like something I would love. Sorry, Jimmy, I muted you. Sorry.
No. I came back. I can unmute myself. I agree. I didn't have an Atari, but that joystick I think I had for my Atari ST.
Okay. Yeah.
Or no, an Atari XE. Sorry, which was the tapes. But that joystick, that's a classic joystick, isn't it? That's a great little piece of Lego, isn't it?
It's nice, isn't it? Look, the little the flap flips open, and there's a little kind of mini scale diorama there of a little 80s kid playing Atari on his CRT TV.
Great.
You get little Lego cartridges that you can put in it. If it's anything like the Lego Nintendo, you could put the actual NES cartridges in the Nintendo machine itself. So really great detail.
It's great. Yeah, it's a little bit obviously basic because there's lots of the same colour, but it's still cool. Stu, who's this person who's joined us?
No, that's the YouTube video, Jimmy.
I know, but it's weird. Get rid of him. I don't want him there. It's kind of weird. It's like, I don't know, like he's a dead person. just hanging around. You can't get rid of him. Oh, that looked great.
Yeah, I was trying to get the story up. Okay, yeah. So this is coming out in August.
They haven't done a NES, you say?
They have done a NES, yeah.
They have done a NES.
Yeah, that's already out. You can purchase that. This Atari is coming out in August. It's been rumoured since April. Yeah, I've got any other facts for you. $240, 2,532 pieces. Yeah, looks pretty sick to me. Oh, actually, I think the cartridges. Let me share this. This looks pretty cool.
Well, just as you go on, we've had some comments in the comments section from Roggy,
Hello, Roggy,
listener of the show. Says, "Don't be ridiculous, Stu. You can't just make computers out of Lego and they work." Know. And he said, "I had an Atari 520 ST. Wasn't Lego though. It was made out of computers." Says Roggy, ultimate listener of the show.
Roggy, I'm struggling with these. We'll move on. But it looks like a good model coming out in August. If you're into your video game kind of history, or you're a massive Atari fan, got an affinity with that brand, then this could be a good set for you to. Looks like a great display piece. Yeah.
Would you, if someone said to you, Stu, do you want a Lego Atari or just an Atari? Would you take? What would you take?
Oh, Lego. I think Lego Atari.
Well, you could use the Atari. Maybe you got 2 Atari games of it as well, and they're going to be dog shit. But well, they might be. You might get Centipede, which was always fun. But
that is a good question. Actually, I think I would go with the Lego.
Yeah.
Because I think I'd get more out of building that model and displaying that model than kind of getting the Atari 2600 out, putting the cartridge in, and being a little bit disappointed after 2 minutes playing like a really blocky, simple video game. I personally, you could display the actual 2600.
You could display them both, yeah, and tell people it was Lego.
I don't know.
Don't go too close, but that's Lego.
Yeah.
Stay back. It's Lego.
That's a question that I might answer differently on a different day, I think. Yeah. Interesting point, Jimmy. Interesting. I like it.
That's the first time we've said that. Thanks, Stu.
That validated your contribution.
I'm going to comb my beard because of that.
I think we need to acknowledge the fantastic performance of the England ladies football team, who have.
Have you got a thing?
I do have a reaction. Let's go with.
It's coming up. Oh no! It's coming up. It's coming.
There we go.
Yes. So they're in the quarterfinals. Am I right?
They were. It was the quarterfinals on where are we? Friday. I think it was it last night? No, Wednesday night. I think it was, where they beat Spain after extra time 2-1. Absolutely thunder cunt of a goal by the English player.
So what are they in now?
Semi-finals, Jimmy. I don't know who they're playing.
So are the semis before the finals?
Yes, Jimmy.
I get confused. I honestly get confused. Like Roggy in the comments gets confused. He's just put, so the Lego one doesn't work? Serious question.
No, the Lego Atari 2600 is a Lego model. You can't put Atari cartridges in and it won't play a video game, Roggy.
Like you can't put bread in the Lego toaster either.
No. Sorry for any confusion from my end, but it's a Lego model, plain and simple. Purely there for its aesthetic beauty.
What did you say while I was gone, Stu?
I don't know.
Did you convince people that they could use Lego for real things?
Clearly. Unless Roggy's drunk, which I don't know. Could that be possible?
No.
No. Oh, okay. Perhaps I did explain it poorly. Highly possible.
Right, so the women's football team, they're not Lego. Yeah. They're real. They're in the semi-finals.
Yes.
Which is the last match before the finals.
Yes.
Who have they got?
Let's find out. Fixtures. I'm not sure the other quarterfinals have. Okay, so Germany beat Austria. So in the semis, it's England, and Germany, the old combatants. I'm not saying they're playing each other. I'm not sure what the route is. Sweden are playing Belgium as we speak, and it's 0-0. And on
Exciting.
Saturday it's France versus the Netherlands.
Right.
So yeah, it's going to be England versus the winners of tonight's games. It's going to be England versus either France or the Netherlands. So there we go. Right. Well done, girls. Getting some cracking viewing figures on the BBC.
Is it brilliant?
I think I read. Yeah, it's you know, I don't want to. It's difficult to sound condescending when you're talking about women's football, but it's really nice to see like people kind of gravitating and taking them seriously and taking them under their wing and starting to support them. And it's lovely to see like full stadiums throughout the competition. I haven't watched a great deal of it, to be fair, but it's a lovely sight.
I'll 100% watch the finals. Like if we're in the finals, like I'll 100% watch that.
Definitely.
Few comments in the comment section, Stu. Sorry about this.
Sorry, no, it's okay.
Roggy. Yeah, but couldn't they put an emulator in? It's a 30-year-old device. I don't see the point. Could make one out of pasta, but I won't bother. Is there a Lego version of the England football team? Yeah. No, and interesting enough, no, he's not drunk, Stu. He's not drunk.
I'm being sincere.
Exactly. Did you see there was some controversy with the women's football team on the BBC?
No. Oh, is this what your news story is? Oh,
this
okay.
This is my link. Now, Stu, it's a little bit controversial, I'll be honest. But I think it's a shame that it was put in that way when how well the football team are doing.
Right. Okay. I can see from your headline where this will be going. Let's get it up on the page.
I just think it was a bit of a shame to send it down this route when it seems like such a positive thing.
So BBC reporter highlights problem of English female football team being white.
Yeah.
Do you want me to play the video?
You can if you want. It doesn't matter. That's it. It's only a 30-second clip of this woman.
All right, let's play it. Might contextualise it a bit. Okay.
Goal victory for England last night as the Lionesses secured their place in the quarter-finals. But all starting 11 players and the 5 substitutes that came onto the pitch were all white. And that does point towards a lack of diversity in the women's game in England. And it's something that Alex Scott has been investigating.
So is it Alex Scott that's made the complaint? Or raised the point, I should say. Sorry.
Now, apparently, there is, I think, 3 black women in the team, but they were just not on the bench for that game. They were. So there's the 11 on the field, and then there's some on the bench, and then there's others as well, right?
Yeah.
And
I think there's a squad, like a 25 player squad.
You don't have all of them playable, right?
No, like you out of the 25, you would say, well, that's a good point, because I thought that in these tournaments you pick your 11 and you've got a squad of 25, for example, then you pick your 11 and then your substitutes can be made up of the rest of the squad, the rest of the 25.
But I think maybe you can only have 5 or something.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not a football, but apparently there is like 3 or 4 black girls in the team, but just wasn't there for that.
Okay.
In that thing. So that came up like in my search when I was looking at the football team and stuff like that, and I just thought it was a shame when the women have had it hard enough. And there is black girls in the team, as white girls in the team. What I was a bit disappointed it was even brought up, to be honest. I didn't think it mattered, because I think that if you're a coach, you will just pick the best players, whatever colour, race, religion, whatever these people are. I would think that would be the case.
Yeah.
And it was I found that a bit sad, because obviously the the women's team are doing really well. And do you know what I mean? It seemed like a bit of a, they've done this, but this. And I was like, oh, that's a shame that they're...
No, I get you. And you'd...
a group who have already been, like women have already been blooming hit down for, for years and years and years. I thought it was a bit of a shame, really, on the BBC's part. Yeah,
it does kind of put a dampener on the massive achievement that they are currently, this journey that they're going on. To be honest, and I think you're right. I think I'd like to think that there's no kind of, no kind of race doesn't come into the factor when picking a squad of players or picking your best 11. You'd hope the coach picks the best side.
I think in sports it is rare, isn't it? I think there can be racism in sports, of course. But I think if you're trying to pick the best side because you want to win, you'll always pick the best players. Always.
Well, actually, you had like the South African sides of the 80s and 90s, like the rugby and stuff. They wouldn't pick like black players, would they? Like the South African cricket teams and rugby teams had quite no choice for not. It was quite rare to see a black player playing within those teams.
Because there's huge amounts of racism in South Africa.
Of course,
right? And now,
but I think, I do think today. I think it's very rare these days to see the racism mainly comes from the stands, sadly, doesn't it? Like
yes, the awful,
the shaven-headed, thuggish football fans that tend to watch the game.
And Stu, and. I just thought on the BBC I thought that was a weird way to take the England team doing well.
I wonder how long after
England team.
I wonder how long after the game that point was raised.
It seemed quite close, didn't it? It seemed like she was there.
Well, they were on the sidelines, weren't they? Yeah. They were in the stadium. So a bit. I see what you're saying. It's a bit disappointing to kind of. I mean, it's an important message, isn't it? We don't want to kind of say that racism in sport isn't important, and it's not. It's an important discussion to have, but I think perhaps this wasn't the time and place to have that. I don't know. Again, it's two white guys talking about race, and it's difficult, isn't it?
Yes, it is difficult. I agree. I was of two minds to bring it up, but I just thought we're singing about the great achievement of the women's English football team. And I saw that, and I was like, "Oh, don't try and sully it." Like and I know that there is black women in the team. They just weren't there they weren't in that squad. So, and I know, I'm sure I know that if they'd put the best players on, they would, wouldn't they? Like, of course you would.
Yeah,
it's like in NBA basketball. It's like all white coaches and all black players. There's a few white guys in there, but like you use the best players that you can get.
Definitely.
I was just disappointed with the BBC, to be honest.
But good luck, ladies, in your semi-final and hopefully the final.
I can't wait. I'm going to watch it.
It's being played in England, so they kind of have an home advantage. So hopefully they can bring home the trophy. I sound like a real right sports reporter there, don't I?
Well, it will be fantastic for women's football.
Oh God, yeah, of course it will.
Won't it? Like it will get loads more people into it, which is needed because the money's needed in all of like loads of women's sports. Money's needed, and it needs to come from people watching it. And if people do well, then people watch and people pump the money in.
Yeah. Right, that's the news for this week. I want to touch
comments in the comments section.
Have we?
Stu.
Thank you. I have missed those. Thank God you're here, Jimmy.
Roggy again.
Roggy. Oh, he was baiting me. That's okay, Roggy. It's fine. It's fine, motherfucker. Trying to bring out your masochistic side to spice the podcast up. Spicy. Roggy, it's always a pleasure to see you. Thank you for joining us as always. Right. Have you watched all of Miss Marvel?
No, but talk about it all you want because
are you dumb?
No, while I'll watch it, but I'm not really too concerned because I don't think it was necessarily aimed at me, which is fine. I thought it was kind of it was all right what I watched, but I'm not in a rush to watch it.
Okay. Are you mindful of spoilers?
Is it going to spoil anything for other films? Is it going to spoil anything for Thor: Love and Thunder?
No.
Go away. Spoil away.
Okay. Well, so it's only a very minor spoiler, I think, in terms of. I mean, it was thrown out in the end credits after the final episode, like a little throwaway moment. But it's interesting.
So you've watched the whole of Miss Marvel. It was what, 10 episodes?
10, was it 10 or was it? I can't remember. 10.
I just threw that number out there. I don't know.
Hang on, I can tell you in a minute. Let me look at the wiki. 6 episodes.
6. Oh,
and
so I watched 2. So actually, I've watched 1/3.
And do you know what? I think it's very kind of. Ultimately, I enjoyed it. You know, I did. It's my only kind of real knowledge of Miss Marvel, strangely enough, is through the Avengers video game, which I thought told a really interesting, cool story about Miss Marvel's origins. Obviously, it's very specific to the universe of the game, and from what I understand, in the TV show, they have, changed certainly her powers and the origin of her powers and such.
Yeah.
So, and both versions are different to the comics. So I think that has caused some concern amongst the fandom, if you like to use that term. But coming into it quite cold and on Miss Marvel, I didn't really care about that. I just wanted to be entertained.
Stretchiness is a weird thing to do, isn't it? So yes. I quite liked that it was more of a glowy, mystical, long arm than a stretch. It was more Green Lantern.
It was.
Than Mr. Fantastic.
She got her powers in this show from like the amulet. Initially, we think that is the case. The amulet giving her powers to kind of project these like cosmic, like stretchiness. That's a better way I could put it. You know, she could stretch her limbs, but she did the usual Miss Marvel stuff. But it was the band that was giving her these powers. I enjoyed this show. It was when it was doing a bit more than the traditional Marvel kind of action whiz bangs. It's an interesting show because it does go quite heavy into like Kamala's heritage, the kind of the Pakistani, Indian, British Empire relationship, because she does go to Pakistan about halfway through the series to kind of like delve deeper into her heritage and like the origin of her powers and such. So, and when she does that, it gets quite interesting because there's quite a bit of like political commentary in a way, and we don't come out very well, to be honest. The British don't come out very well, as we wouldn't, because we were we brutalized that nation. So that's when the show was at its most interesting for me, and when it got schlocky, as you say, Jimmy, which is a good word, it's I kind of zoned out a little bit because it then kind of just became like subpar Marvel stuff. It felt very kind of small scale, smaller scale than a lot of the other TV stuff that they've done. It's just Kamala in New Jersey doing things with her mates. Is kind of the big bad isn't.
Who is the big bad?
Well, it's kind of like, it's hard to explain. I'm not sure I really understood who the big bad was, but it kind of transpires that Kamala is throughout the series, prior to the end credit sequence. Oh God, what's the name of not like a species of people, but like
Jinn?
Yeah, that's it. So they're from another universe.
So isn't that another word for a genie?
Yes, it is.
Because in American Gods there was a Jinn.
Jinn, yeah. So it transpires that she may be a Jinn, and the other Jinns that are stuck in this universe, and they transpire to be the big bad guys, are trying to get the amulet off Kamala to return to their original, or create a doorway to their original universe, and kind of would destroy our universe. You know, the kind of
that sounds quite good.
Yeah, it was okay, but the big bad, like the person who was the head of this Jinn group, wasn't very charismatic, and I don't know, it was just another kind of Pakistani lady just being with a kind of strange evil arm. You know, it was just another
Pakistani lady.
Well, and it was, I don't know, I didn't have that kind of threat that a lot of these Marvel shows have been guilty in kind of lacking somewhat. And this was another case of that. But like I say, it kind of it ebbed and flowed, and I zoned in and out of consciousness with a lot of it. But it did get better towards the end. Those kind of final few episodes started to reveal a bit more about the plan for the Jinn, and Kamala came into her own. She grew as a character, and I liked that. I liked Kamala's relationship with her family, and that was
the
quite
two
nice.
episodes I saw, I liked her and her family. It reminded me of a film called Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging, which is fucking appalling. It's an appalling film, but I quite like just the normal family. In Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging, they're a little white family in I think they're in Brighton, but again, just it had that East is East sort of vibe to it, just that family getting that snapshot into that world that we're not in is nice to see. It was, and I enjoyed that.
And that's when it was at, for me, also was when it was at its most compelling as a show. Kind of exploring their heritage, exploring like a lot of the family traditions, and a lot of the situations that came out of that. And that was really nice. Less interested in the Marvel-y stuff, strangely. And that kind of transpired throughout the show, and then it kind of took a weird turn in that post-credit scene where they kind of, I think Kamala's friend has been kind of analysing her DNA and trying to see what's been going on, what's made her kind of this way. Kid. Yeah. And they kind of meet together at the end, and he says, well, the amulet was actually, it wasn't like the source of your power, it was kind of just enhanced or projecting what was within you already. And he says there's been a mutation in your genes, and then the X-Men Sting comes in, like they do that. Really? They do that again, yeah. So yeah, it's
which they did in Doctor Strange too.
It's alluded to the fact that she possibly is a mutant. The first, I don't know if she's the first MCU mutant, because I think there are technically other mutants that have been on screen before.
I think they were implying that Wanda and and her brother Petro were mutants, and the crystal, I think they implied that in like WandaVision, that the
was like projecting, like kind of bringing out what was inside them. Perhaps this is similar then. Okay, that's interesting. So perhaps that that's interesting, and fucking Captain Marvel made an appearance as well at the end.
Oh, did she?
In the credits, yeah.
Was she cocky or was she likeable?
No, she was fine. She's only in it for like 2 seconds. They switch places. So Kamala goes somewhere, and then Captain Marvel is projected into Kamala as well. So that presumably will lead directly onto the film, The Marvels. So yeah, all in all, it was an okay series. I preferred, like I say, the more cultural explorations and that kind of stuff, and less so the Marvel stuff. So it was all right.
I'll still watch it. I think I will still go to it when I've got the time.
It's one of the better ones, I would say. It's one of the better Marvel TV shows, I think, that's been so far.
I've wanted to watch. There's a few shows that I need to watch, and then unfortunately today I accidentally hovered over Breaking Bad on Netflix, and it started playing, and I went, "Oh God!"
7 series later.
Amazing. I'm watching it again. You've watched Breaking Bad, haven't you?
We talk about this every episode, and every episode I say.
I forget. It's the best show ever, Stu. It's so good. Like, literally, as soon as it starts, I'm like, oh, God, it just draws me in. It's like It's like the Goodfellas of TV shows. Like, it's incredible.
Speaking of Breaking Bad, no. I'm glad you brought it up because some news I saw on Twitter earlier today was that it's rumored that Giancarlo Esposito is rumored to be playing Professor X in the X-Men films. That could be cool. That'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
Jesus, do you know what? He's the only. Yeah. Him or Bryan Cranston are probably the only people I'd be happy with taking over from Patrick Stewart.
Pat Stu, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that could be a genius bit of casting, personally. Whether it's true or not, I don't know.
He would be great. You got Baldwin, obviously, but yeah, he'd be fantastic. And now they've opened up the multiverse, like, it opens things up for different
interpretations.
Exactly, because at the moment, it's not colour. It's, if they would have done that years ago, it would have been fine. But Patrick Stewart is Professor X. Like, he just is Professor X, isn't he?
I'm up for it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm well up for it, actually. He's an incredible
actor. No, I'm saying I could do Professor X.
Oh, you? No, you can't.
Yeah. It's like I've got Cerebro on my head.
You've got psoriasis on your head.
Yeah, so there we go. Miss Marvel, pretty good.
Yeah.
Go check it out.
Check it out.
Anything you want to mention, Jimmy? I'm going to save my Resident Evil chat for next week, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to... I mean, I just put Silent Hill in because I watched that, and we can talk about that another time.
I want to talk about that with you when we do. I think that's a good counterpoint to Resident Evil, obviously, for obvious reasons. But, yeah, spoilers. I liked the Silent Hill film.
Oh, spoilers. I had fun.
Great.
Yeah. I ate an apple crumble with custard as I watched it, so how can you not have fun?
It's the Sean Bean one, isn't it?
Yeah, and it took me a while to realise it was Sean Bean. What a waste of Sean Bean. But yeah, no, I'd rather crack on with Can of Past than the end, the usual end stuff.
Right.
And the Can of Past is a shorty.
Cool. Right, well, as Jimmy says, a fabulous segue, Jimmy. Let's begin the roundup of the show by saying, can the past still make us laugh? Can the past make us laugh? I can't remember the last one we did, but I think it did make us laugh.
I think it was the one where I was really, really drunk, and we watched some Harry Enfield, and it didn't make us laugh. So we watched another bit of Harry Enfield, and it made us
and
laugh.
It did. Eventually, the past made us laugh. Jimmy, what have you got for us this week, my friend?
Well, I saw this clip a little while ago, and it is from. It's a Harry Enfield connection because it's a Paul Whitehouse creation, and it is the Fast Show. From the 90s, Paul Whitehouse, Charlie Higson, Catherine O'Hearn, Simon Day, so many brilliant comedians in the Fast Show. It was a sketch show which prided itself on quick sketches, wasn't it? They're really, just fucking crack on. If you didn't laugh at that, you might laugh at the next thing. This is a 1.5 minute sketch. Charlie Higson's in it, Paul Whitehouse is in it, most of the gang are in it. And also, it's about sort of 40-year-old men, and me and you are getting close to that sort of area, Stu. So, and obviously, we've got a lot of friends in that space. And unfortunately, Higson reminds me a little bit of me when I had my longer hair and my leather jacket. Yeah, I thought I saw this sketch about a month or two ago, and I thought I must bring that up at some point.
Is this going to hit hard? Is this going to challenge us?
Not us, but some men, yeah.
Okay.
Some people we know.
Okay, let's take a look at the Fast Show and see if it can still make us laugh.
Yo!
Jimmy.
Listen, dudes, we're going to stick here, we're going to move on.
Oh, we'll stay here for a couple. Why?
It's just Gina's going to join us, so I need to let her know.
Oh, come on, James. Not once in all the years we've been having a lads' night out has any member of the opposite sex ever joined us. Not wives, not girlfriends.
Don't be so uptight, man. Be cool. Chill out! Times they haven't changed.
James, you might find it interesting talking to some teenager about pop music and hairstyles or spots or whatever it is, but we're not remotely interested.
If you want to talk to her, why don't you talk to her when we're not here?
Too late.
All right, darling.
Hi.
Hello, boys. This is Kinky. She's a dancer. Hello, boys.
Hello.
Hi, Kinky. Can I get you a drinky?
By 18 holes, you walk about 5 miles, so it's great exercise.
Yeah, but he's a plodder. You should see me in Poetry in Motion.
Yeah, you should come down. There's a lot of women playing there, a lot of young women. Like
Jim Carrey's brilliant, isn't he? He's really funny.
Yeah, the Massive Taxi was great.
Yeah, what about my hairstyle? Should I change it? Do you think it would make me look younger? I mean, how old do you think I am?
I don't know. About James' age, I suppose. About 40?
How do you think I look?
Younger than him.
Can I come over your tits?
What? What? No, sorry?
Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I just meant to think it. I didn't mean to think it.
Wow. I didn't expect that.
Check out this Verbo.
Oh, dear God. Okay.
Well,
I hope
fast
we
show,
don't-
quick, get it
Yeah,
done.
yeah. I liked it. It's good. It had that shock value that made me laugh, and yeah. Oh God, I hope we don't kind of descend into characters like that. To be honest, if we're not already there.
Trouble is, when I watched that, I've seen my friends say that for years. Like since we were like 30, I've seen my friends say something like, not the last thing that White House says. No, I haven't seen that, but the other bit is like, guess how
acting in
old
that
I
way?
am.
Really?
Yeah, guess how old I am. Let me get you a drink? Talking about that car, all that sort of stuff. You see it all the time. Obviously, they've seen it all, and they just, I love the transition from Jesus, don't bring it, Jesus, and then it turns up. I've seen it so many times, and I hate it because the pretty girl turns up, and it's obvious, she's a pretty girl. People are going to go, well, she's attractive, but
yeah,
that. Hello, can I get you a drink, please? That stuff.
It's turned to mush, don't they?
Yeah, it's just
we. I should say. No, that was good. I like that. I loved the Fast Show. Yeah, very quick, very kind of great, just great sketches and great characters as well. Bob Fleming, he got a mention earlier in the show, and I had a cough. Just like there's a lot of memorable characters and sketches in that show that are still kind of memes to this day. You still see like memes of Boris Johnson saying, "Today I'm mostly going to be whatever." Like his face grafted onto the idiot that comes out the shed in the.
This week I've mostly been eating tara masala.
That guy. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Just so simple.
Yes, but again, it's endured. It's a show that has. Didn't they bring it back a little while ago? I'm sure they did. Did a reunion show where they kind of did a few sketches and had some talking heads and stuff. I think they did for UK Gold or something. Well worth checking out, I would say. Probably still holds up. I like that stuff.
I like how quick they are as well. It was interesting. I was watching some sketch comedy with my wife the other day, and she's not a massive fan of sketch comedy, and she was saying she finds it quite arrogant.
Really?
People being like going, look how funny I am. Look how funny these sketches are. And I get it with lots of stuff. Because lots of stuff is, awful. And you get that vibe. They're going, look how funny I am. Whereas the Fast Show lot, I don't get that from them. It's so quick. It's just like, this could be a fun, it seems quite humble in its way. I don't know. It may be me just romanticizing that group, but they don't seem like there doesn't seem to be arrogancy in the group. I don't know. Am I talking bullshit?
Yeah. No. I'm laughing at the comments. So they seem to be on a delay. And Rog.
Oh God, yeah. Ginger people are mutants. Well, hold on. If we go back, we've got hope the match of the day scouts are watching this podcast. And then Colin, did you see the casting ideas for live action Family Guy? Roggy, is live action a Family Guy a real thing? It shouldn't be. Roggy, it's Arabic for demon.
Okay.
Jinn is Arabic for demon.
Yep.
Roggy does speak some Arabic.
Thanks, Roggy, for clarifying. Yeah.
It's where the word genie comes from. Is
Right.
Roggy.
Okay.
Colin Doolan, I think it's just a fan thing, mate, not real. And then Roggy wrote some Arabic. And he wrote, "Hi, Colin. Good. Scott McFarlane, he knows it's Seth, isn't remotely funny in a non-animated stuff for some reason." Jesus, ginger people are mutants, technically so...
Took a turn, didn't it?
Well, actually, he's right.
I suppose they are. Yeah, is it like a twist on a gene?
It's a
probably
mutation.
Is.
It's a mutation in the genes.
Right.
Yeah, Roggy wouldn't put something that wasn't well researched up. It could sound out of order, but it's not. It's a mutation. It's a very groovy mutation.
Yeah.
Christ.
So
a lot happened there. Fast show though.
Fast show. Good stuff. The
Can the past make us laugh?
Made us laugh, Jimmy. Success.
Yeah. Amazing stuff.
All right, let's wrap the show up even more. We're at the bow stage, I think, of the present. Let's go to our Anne Finey story, which is a cracker. Oh, Jimmy, what have we got for us? Here we go. Okay,
I haven't got anything.
No.
Oh, what have you got
Rhetorical.
for us? Well, shit, was I supposed to have something?
Okay, let's copy the link into this window here.
Don't tell us how it happens. Just do
the magic. Okay, yeah. Right,
and
okay.
This is your card. I'm putting it in my pocket and then rifling through the cards. And was this your card out my pocket?
Of all the ways to possibly die, I think this could be a good one.
Okay, I want to hear it. I'm ready. Let's go.
If heat wave hits 42 degrees, bees may ejaculate themselves to death.
I would like that. That sounds awful. It doesn't say orgasm themselves to death. It just says ejaculate.
Late casting rumours. Ross Kemp for Charles Xavier from Roggy. Anyway, back to these poor old bees. So yeah, it's obviously been a hot week for us, Jimmy, but it could have been hotter. But apparently, if it hits 42 degrees, as says the Metro, kind of that happens to a bee.
What the
kind of blows himself out his own rear end.
What am I looking at there, Stu?
I don't really know. A dead drone honeybee which suffered a sad fate. Are you telling me? Or would it be a sad fate or a happy fate? I don't know. I guess there is a distinction between ejaculation and the orgasmic euphoria.
Well, men feel bad enough masturbating as it is. I don't think the fear of death is going to make it any nicer.
Okay, well, let's dig deep into this story. One more thing to worry about in the heat wave we're facing is the gruesome death of honeybees, who have been found to suffer a difficult fate when it gets too hot. Research reveals they can literally ejaculate themselves to death in extreme heat. When male worker bees are subjected to very high temperatures, their bodies begin to convulse, which forces them to ejaculate their abdomen-sized penis equivalent out of their body and die from the shock.
I'm not surprised.
I take it all back. This is not a good way to go.
But what? Whoa. Yeah. Imagine like one of them telling the other one, "Did you hear how Tony died? He ejaculated his cock out of his abdomen, out of his bum, his butt, and he died of shock." And once it's passed on, they're all afraid, and when they do it, they might not die of shock because they might see it coming, and just live with that penis on the outside.
No. I thought it was a good gag. Was that a genuine gag? It was great. Saw it coming.
Forgive. I didn't mean to do that.
Okay, it's great. Probably one of the best gags you've done, inadvertently.
God, I didn't even realise.
No.
It's the genius.
Where were we? Okay,
To a casual.
To a casual, thank you, Jimmy. To a casual onlook, it may look like the bees spontaneously exploded, but new research has shown there to be a bizarre sexual component to this final act. Bees tried to forgive the adverts, by the way. Bees try to maintain a body temperature of 35 degrees, and if things get as hot as 42, then half of drones will die within 6 hours. God. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Dr. Alison McAfee, a postdoctoral fellow at UBC's Michael Smith Laboratories, focusing on bee health, said, When drones
do the voice, Stu.
Okay. When drones die from shock, they spontaneously ejaculate. They have this elaborate endophallus that comes out and is about the size of their own abdomen. It's pretty extreme. Endophallus.
Oh, God.
Poor honeybees. McAfee says she was first alerted to the phenomenon after noticing a high level of bee deaths following a heatwave in British Columbia during 2021. Beehives typically maintain a temperature around 35 degrees, and although the Colombian bees should have been able to cope with the temperature, the excess heat ended up killing many of them off. Yeah, there we go. So,
do the voice. The more sensitive ones.
The more sensitive ones start to perish at 2 or 3 hours. There's a temperature they shouldn't normally experience, but we were seeing drones getting stressed to the point of death.
They were doing the tests, though, weren't they?
Yeah.
That wasn't something they were just watching in the natural world. They were hair drying those drones.
Yeah. Look. Some of these methods included coating beehives in a protective polystyrene cover. Oh, which helps cool the hive. I thought they were artificially making them hot to see them like pop like popcorn. Poor buggers. We need to protect our bees, don't we?
Oh God.
Protect our bees.
Yeah, disgrace. Good comment from Alex Turner in the comments there, Stu. If you want to bring that up.
I think that's how George Michael died. Yep.
I thought didn't he crash into Snappy Snaps?
What?
Oh, and then Roggy with a punchline to that joke.
Wham. Yep.
Oh, and then Alex with another little comment there. Just
Boom,
piling
boom.
in on poor George.
Yep.
Gone.
As did many. No. All right. Yeah. There we go. So bees need to be protected. Poor
so if
buggers.
you see a bee, blow on them.
Yeah. Blow
Is that the
them.
moral?
Blow them off. Cool them down. There we go. Yeah.
Oh God! Fucking hell!
No. Poor buggers. Oh, there we go, Jimmy. That is 2 hours 52. There we go.
Longy.
It's
worth it.
We haven't chatted for a while. That first bit went long. The top fives was enjoyable but long process, but had to be done.
Had to be done.
It is what it is. I enjoyed it.
We've had a couple of weeks off.
Yeah,
we're back.
Yeah,
we did a longie for people. People are still with us.
There are, surprisingly so. But thank you. Let's thank those people actually in the chat. Thank you to Alex Turner, Roggy. Who else have we had? We have had Colin Doolan. Thank you as always. Rock. Thank you for joining us, Rock. John Simmons, I know, is in. John Simmons Scale Modelling. Go check out the channel. Holly, of course, was here. The real Matthew Early. He was here. I think that is probably it. Yeah, there we go. So thank you one and all. And if you're watching this on demand, again, thank you for joining us. This show will be available on audio podcast feeds as well over the weekend. So if you are listening to that or fancy listening to us via audio form, then please do so. We're on all the big podcast places: Spotify, Apple, Google. We own the airwaves. Thank you to those in the chat for joining me, and thanks to you, the viewers and listeners. Jimmy, thank you muchly for
thank you, Stu,
your time this evening. It's been a pleasure, as it always is.
Thank you for letting me come back.
You're welcome. Alex says thank you. Alex, you are welcome. It's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, I don't think I've got much else to say. Please do, again, if you want to support the Great Ormond Street Children's Charity, do scan that QR code in the corner. We are geeking out for Gosh throughout July, trying to raise 250 quid for Great Ormond Street Children's Hospital to help support them and the parents of sick kids as well. So please do give generously if you can. Just scan that QR code with your camera and it'll take you to our Just Giving donation page. Well, until next week, I guess it's time for us to say goodbye. And please... Oh, I need to cue this up, don't I?
You cue it up, Stu.
I'm good. Please take care and goodbye.